Good evening and welcome to this session of the live virtual coaching classes conducted by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India Board of Studies. For the last two sessions, we have been discussing topic relating to appointment and qualifications of directors. We have covered some ground in terms of coverage. We've seen who is a director, duties of director, minimum and maximum number of directors, directorships. Then we moved on to understanding certain categories of directors, especially the independent director, woman director, etc. And then we saw the provisions relating to basic provisions relating to appointment of a director. Okay, the basic provisions contained in section 152 of the Companies Act 2013. So then we went on to three types of directors: appointment by board. We saw the additional director, the alternate director, and the casual vacancy appointee. Then appointment of directors by small shareholders. Then the company in general meeting, we saw retirement of directors, rotation, deemed reappointment, etc., etc. So that's quite a lot of coverage. And then direct appointment of directors by tribunal, etc., etc. So now we come to another topic called DIN. This is called Director Identification Number, DIN. Okay, so we have Kaushiki and Sudhir putting in good evening. I greet you well and look forward to more people sort of connecting on the query board. Of course, I'm sure you're all there sitting, listening. So without much ado, let me get into. Yeah, Shriram is here, Viraj, Desai. Okay, good show, yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. DIN, Director Identification Number. This is a very important number. I don't know if you're all aware, there's a new development in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. I don't know if you guys are aware, maybe you're not. See, the ministry has come out with what is known as V3. So version 3, okay, which is developed by L&T Infotech, LTI. I don't know. So, many company secretaries who meet me are crying because everything is going 6 and we are not able to get. For example, they put one DIN, you get the name of some other person, etc. Anyway, I'm sure the ministry will work towards correcting it and getting it through. In the meantime, what we are seeing is the theoretical part. That's the practical part. Rarely will you as a chartered accountant do this. I hope you will not do stuff like this. God forbid. I hope you'll do better things than this. But see, as a matter of knowledge, you need to know this. So it's not very, very important topic. Some of it is very boring, detailed. I will skip a little part of the detailing and tell you what it is broadly. If you want very particular, read it from the institute material, bug it up. It's your choice, not very important. DIN is Pooja ji, welcome. DIN is an identification number allotted by the ministry, MCA, to any individual intending to be appointed as a director or to any existing director. See, earlier also DIN was there under the old law. So such DINs were also there. So such DINs are still valid. Then anybody coming in new would apply under this law and get a fresh DIN. Okay. Under the LLP Act, you have the designated partnership identification number, DPIN. So the same DIN is also the DPIN. That's what they are trying to say. If you have a DIN, that becomes the DPIN, okay, under the LLP Act. So we already know that possession of a DIN is a precondition for appointment as a director. I repeat, you cannot become a director of a company, or rather you cannot be appointed as a director of a company unless you have a DIN. So that gentleman or lady who wants to be appointed as a director should first make a application for allotment of DIN. Okay. And this is fairly simple. You just upload the form, give all the details, name, proof of identity, proof of residence, prove that you are yourself, and generally they ensure that you are not having any other negatives and they do it. So DINs allotted under these rules, DIN so allotted under these rules is valid for the lifetime and shall not be allotted to any other person. It's very unique. So if you already have a DIN, you should not apply for another DIN. Okay. Yeah. Welcome, Mr. Prashant. Welcome. So no individual who has already been allotted a DIN, similar to PAN. PAN is unique. The permanent account number or whatever it is, PAN, for income tax purpose, that is unique. You can't have two PANs. It's a criminal offense. Two PAN, because it can be used. Sriram is already asking a doubt. Let's see what it is. It means if a person is director of a company and having a DIN, does the same number be used as DPN? Yeah. You can use, that's what they're saying. Boss, these things are all theoretical, yeah. When you go there to the website, you might find it's not so. But they are saying DIN includes the DPIN. So I think what they mean here is, if you want to become a partner of an LLP, you should have a DPIN. I think that's what they're trying to say. I'm sorry, I don't want to give a false impression to you. I'm not aware. I'll check up and get back to you maybe in another class. I will confirm whether the same DIN can be used as a DPIN. Okay, it's a very, very theoretical, and this is very, very practical. And I think if you're very particular to know about it, I will verify with the company secretary and I'll get back to you. See, basically, these things are all done by company secretaries. Chartered accountants rarely get into these details. It's for knowledge and information only we are giving this to you. See, just you want a DIN, you tell that guy, he'll get your DIN for you. That's all, as simple as that. You don't have to waste your time on this. Anyway, it's up to you. If you still desire and seek knowledge, give me 2 days time. On Tuesday, today is what? Saturday, I will tell you. Sunday, I will tell you this answer. Okay, so procedure for application for DIN. Application for DIN should be made in Form DIR 3 to be signed and submitted electronically using digital signature certificate. Then Form DIR 3 to be accompanied by a photograph, proof of identity, proof of residence. See, these are all contained in the rules, right? But these are constantly changed. In the sense, in the ministry website, portal, they'll be giving all sorts of things. Whatever they say, you have to do. Otherwise, you won't get what you want. So this is what they are saying. DIR 3 to be accompanied by a photograph, proof of identity, proof of residence. Principle-wise, it's what you need to understand. Normally, to get a DIN, you need all these things. Proof of identity, proof of residence. See, today, rather one of my clients was referring a gentleman from another country in the UAE, and they said they want to form a company in India. I said, what is the procedure? I said, look here, I can't tell you. I called the company secretary. Tell me, sir, today what is the procedure? Today, what is the procedure? Because the MCA keeps changing the procedure every day. Do this, do that. So, what is the procedure? That I'll give you 30 days guarantee. After 30 days, if you come, I may have to change it again. So, this is the status of the MCA website. That being the case, no man can claim to be an authority on this area. It keeps on changing, and generally what I do, I call the company secretary, either out, tell me what is what. Then he tells me everything. Then we inform the client. That is the best way to do it. You can always download it from the website and tell. It's not a problem. Why? Okay. As of now, see, the idea is simple, boss. Who is he? Where does he stay? Is he a reality, a person of whom he claims to be? Photograph. And a board resolution proposing his appointment as director in an existing company. Because unless otherwise, why do you want a DIN? Then specimen signature duly verified. In fact, this board resolution is not insisted. If you want a DIN, you don't have to give all this, because we incorporate companies for the first time and the company itself is not incorporated. They need DIN. How do I get a board resolution? So that is waived. They won't insist on that. And specimen signature duly verified for the record. All that you upload it onto the website. Okay. Now, suppose I told you one example. Now, I'm incorporating a new company where was this DIN, let us leave it. I'm not aware. You maaf kar dijiye. I'm not aware of it. If you know, you inform. Otherwise, on Saturday, I will inform. If it is very vital from the exam point of view, this is not even relevant. 200% irrelevant matter. Okay, that's my humble view. So, and this topic is there in your board of studies material. Otherwise, I wouldn't even teach it. So there was a time when I used to teach in academy, Prime Academy in Chennai, where I will skip and go. I'll say, no, don't even bother, don't read this, because it's definitely not going to come in the exam. So like that. Or I will just quickly go through it, show the broad outlines and run. That depends. So students in those days used to trust me and come with me, and then they will know. Not a problem. Anyway, so no problem. Because following this, we are going to come to more important topics, which are important from exam point of view. So let's move there. There you can ask questions, and there it will be important for you to be clear. See, up to know what I have taught now, I will tell you which is important. The appointment of directors by board, very important. Those three categories, procedure, rule, the duration of the appointment. Retirement by rotation, deemed reappointment. These are important from, as of now, what I have taught you. Independent director. That is very important. 149.6. Very important. Go through it thoroughly. If you have a doubt there, even now you can ask. I will answer. But not immediately. By the end of the class or something, you ask. Because that is important. 149.6 is important. Okay. So you apply. There's one more option. Instead of doing it like this, see, the top one, DIR 3 part is meant for a case where you are appointing a director in your company. You are already an existing company. You want to appoint Mr. X, not Mr. Donkey, Mr. X as a director. Now that X may not have a DIN. For that, DIR 3 is used. Now there's another possibility. You are incorporating a new company, totally new guys, they don't have DIN. Then one may have DIN, others don't have, two don't have, whatever. At the time of application for the incorporation, name application, incorporation, you can apply for 3 directors content. You can enclose all the details. 3 directors you can apply, up to 3. Why? Because minimum for public is 3. So they say 3 directors you come. And you can use a special form called SPICE form, okay, which can be used for incorporation. If you use the SPICE form, INC 32 SPICE form, you can take it. Okay. Now, after the application is filed, the DIR 3 shall be submitted electronically using his or her own digital signature certificate and should be verified digitally by a company secretary or by the managing director, director, CEO, etc., in which the applicant is intended to be appointed. So, no physical signing. You have to sign it electronically. Application goes to central government. Idea is central government should allot DIN within 1 month. Communicate. Ideal. But suppose the application is defective. There are so many things here. For example, Aadhaar and PAN won't tally. PAN and ration card won't tally. Passport won't. Something, whatever nonsense that will get rejected. In case defective or incomplete, then they're given a chance to resubmit within 15 days. So which is why when we apply for DIN, we ensure we tally everything. And then only we update. Sometimes individuals, who think it's all electronic, I can do it on my own, they will go and put all sorts of documents wrongly, this way, that way, then they'll get caught and then they'll become a big mess. In case the name of a person does not have a last name, then his or her father's or grandfather's surname shall be mentioned in the last name. I wish they had not put surname, put name, surname. Because, see, I don't have a surname. My father doesn't have a surname. My grandfather did not have a surname. So how I can put? Not able to understand this. Because, see, South Indian names, I don't know if you're familiar. Most of you, for example, some of you have surnames like Namrata Surve, Pooja L. Bhatija. See, these are all surnames. Bhatija is a surname. Palaparthi Sudhir, I don't know what his surname is. Because Palaparthi would be family name, I think. And R. K. Prashant, R. Sriram R. Classic like me, S. Srikanth. So we are all South Indians, I think. I presume these 2 gentlemen are from South India. South are mostly Tamil Nadu people. We will find we don't have surnames. We have instead what are known as initials. So invariably the initial is the father's name. For example, my name is Sridharan Srikanth. My father is Sridharan. My name is Srikanth. So S. Srikanth is Sridharan Srikanth. So S is my initial. S is not my surname. I have no surname. What will I do? They're putting father's surname. Father also doesn't have. His name is P.V. Sridharan. That is Venkatesan. My grandfather's name, Sridharan. P for native place. That is, if we add one more letter to our name, which is our native village or town, where we claim our origin. In our case, it's a small village called Palasur. So my father retained it. I took it out of my name. My grandfather, P.S. Venkatesan. His father's name, Sitaraman. So what I'm trying to tell you is we don't have surnames. So, very big problem for us. How to write? What we will do normally that, for example, Palasur is there, that we'll put it as surname. We have no other go, we'll put that. Or in my case, I'll put Srikant first name, Sridharan surname. In which case, the real problem would be, I would be addressed in all communication as Mr. Sridharan, my father, whereas my name is Srikant. All these confusions we'll have. Yeah, Palapati's family name, Andhra family name will be there. Parts of Karnataka family name, Kerala Tarawad name, the Tarawad ka naam, the name of the Tarawad will be there. That is also family name. Like so, it's a diverse country. You cannot try to fit us in one rule and try to make us all obey one method, one language, one method. Very difficult. When you do that, you will definitely irritate one set of people. You cannot satisfy everybody. Better you give diversity. Better you give them the freedom to choose what they want to do, rather than insist that this is how you all should come. Since majority are like this, then all of you should come and be like that. It's very difficult in a country like ours. It only leads to unnecessary discomfort and crying for no reason at all. Or which can be easily avoided, because after all, what is there? Father's name you put. Instead of putting surname stroke father's name. Something like that. That's all. Anyway, such easy solutions we will not accept now. We will want complicated solutions. Anyway, surname has to be given. If you don't have surname, don't come to me. No, then you put some surname and you bring it. Many of my cousins, who are in US, they have solved this, because see, the same problem happens when you go west. In a Western country, they cannot understand that some people may not have last name, because they have a Christian name and a surname. Okay, for example, Mr. Robert Smith. It's so easy. Robert is this Christian name. So Japanese have Yamamoto. Okay, Nakashi Yamamoto. Yamamoto is the surname. Nakashi is his own name, like that. So that it's possible in some countries, but not possible in all countries. So anyway, where application is defective or incomplete, central government shall give intimation of such defect or incompleteness by placing it on the website and by email. Applicant has to resubmit the form within 15 days. Once the resubmission is done, they may reject the application because still it is not corrected properly to their satisfaction. Applicant to file fresh application with complete and correct information, or treat and label such application as invalid. And lastly, inform the applicant either by way of letter or by post or in any other way. In case of rejection or invalidation, the fees paid shall not be refunded. Enjoy. Thank you, Mr. Prashant. Thank you for giving that supportive word. Okay. Every existing director shall, within 1 month of the receipt of director identification number, intimate his DIN to the company or all companies where he is a director in Form 3B. Idea is, suppose he has got the DIN, I don't know. So he has to give information to all the companies. But today, believe me, without DIN, you cannot even get into that portal. If you want to do anything, you need a DIN. If you don't have a DIN, don't even come, get out, go, get a DIN and then come back. That is how they behave. So DIN is, that's why when somebody comes to me for incorporation or something, first thing I ask, do you have a DIN? Kya DIN? Oh. Then you don't have a DIN, let's apply for that first. That is the first step. Then only we can go for incorporation, etc. Okay. Every company shall, within 15 days of the receipt of intimation under section 156, furnish the DIN of all its directors to the registrar or any other officer or authority as may be specified in Form 3C. Okay. So company to inform registrar of DIN of all its directors updated, the program will search. So if this guy's DIN is coming from more than 10 public companies, immediately alert. Or more than 20 companies, immediately alert. So they'll track with the DIN. Are you able to understand? That is how the whole thing happens. Right? The same thing for auditors also. Using our membership number, we are tracked for 20 and more, 20 companies. So every company or person or company, while furnishing any return information or particular as required to be furnished, shall mention the DIN. If you are uploading any form, the DIN should be mentioned. For example, every form, every submission made by a company should be signed by a director using his digital signature, wherein he has to give his DIN. Or company secretary DIN, it has to go. Okay. In some cases, the central government may cancel or deactivate a DIN. If the DIN is found to be duplicated in respect of the same person. So in some cases, by accident, that fellow might have applied twice and both are allotted. So then they can merge the two. DIN was obtained in a wrongful manner or by fraudulent means, possibly by giving false data. It is discovered later. Maybe the company committed fraud and then this guy got caught. There they ask, where is your address? No, this is not my address. Then why you have given like that? So you have obtained a DIN by giving fraudulent means. So the DIN can be deactivated. And of course, it will be, gentlemen will be noted of the death of the concerned individual. So DIN is for life, once their lifetime. The concerned individual has been declared as a person of unsound mind if the concerned individual has been adjudicated as an insolvent. Because C, D, and E, death, of course, no issues, you understand. The D and E, they are disqualifications. D is a disqualification. A person who has been declared as a person of unsound mind is not qualified to be appointed as a director. So the minute he is declared, more about it when we come to disqualification today. If the concerned individual has been adjudicated an insolvent, that is again a disqualification. So the minute he is adjudicated, he is disqualified to being a director and becoming a director. So his DIN will be deactivated. He will automatically vacate office in all the companies where he is a director, automatically. So his DIN also will be deactivated. Before cancellation or deactivation, they may give an opportunity, and this is only for B. Please note it. D, C, D, E automatic, A, C, D, E automatic. But B alone, why? Because he has to be given everybody has to be given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. A reasonable opportunity of being heard. This is one of the greatest advantages of living in a democratic country. You might say democracy is not good. You might say many things. But I assure you, between imperfect systems, democracy is the best. One among the imperfect systems, agreed, majority can be influenced, votes can be bought, politicians are corrupt, blah, blah, blah. But having said all that, democracy is still better than the other options. For example, an oligarchy, or an autocracy, or a dictatorship, or a military rule, or totalitarianism, like as in, Korea, whatever, you can't live. Okay, if you really know what is Korean life, see, in Korea, here also we have rich and poor, but here middle class can lead a decent life. Okay, upper middle class and middle class. Poor also, they have decent life. And more than anything else, we are protected by law. Nobody can arrest me without a warrant, without giving me a charge sheet, without telling me for what I am being arrested, and giving me a reasonable opportunity of being heard. Okay, and I can apply for bail. Everything is a transparent, open process in a court of law. Nothing is hidden. But in a totalitarian government, they come and take you there. You don't know where you will be taken, where you are, who you don't know. Nobody knows. Okay? This is for information. Absolutely North Korea. South Korea is a heaven, no doubt about it. But North Korea, too much. If you know, I'm sure if you traveled or if you have heard of it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I give only one example of North Korea. There are easily about 100 other countries in the world which are dictatorships or quasi-dictatorships, totalitarian governments. Okay. Luckily for us, we live in a democracy where every person should be given an opportunity of being heard. And in case you're not being given a reasonable opportunity, you can approach the court on a writ. And the court will direct the authority to give you that opportunity first. So on and so forth. I'm just giving this thought in your mind because later on, all of you may not go for employment in large corporates and all. Some of you may get into practice. Remember, even in an income tax situation, if you can demand a reasonable opportunity of being heard, if the assessing officer is trying to be very, high-handed, you can put it in writing and say, I hereby request you to give me a reasonable opportunity. You are asked me to file it within 48 hours. It is not possible because the data is to be collected and collated. It will take me 10 days. I will file it on such and such a date. You can ask. And if he denies it, you have a very good right to go to High Court on a writ and squash the order and ask that be redone. All that can be done. So since you are studying law, I thought I will alert you to these possibilities. Be aware of it. Of course, you can't do it. You have to approach a good advocate. The advocate to do it. But you will have to advise the client. See, this is a fit case where we have to go to the High Court and get. I have got like the many orders, quashing orders, where I will get the order, the assessment order quashed. Then I come back and with a more favorable officer, who will have more brain to listen to what I'm saying. I will give him better explanation, or the same explanation will be heard better, and order will be passed accordingly. So this is something you have to just out of context agreed, but nevertheless, I thought I could mention it to you. Okay, it won't come in the exam, not in the exam that you're going to write, but this is part of the bigger syllabus of life. When you start your career as a professional, there's a bigger syllabus which will be revealed to you when you complete the course. Suddenly that syllabus will be revealed to you. No exams. Okay. Only then they can take it off. So in those cases, they can deactivate or cancel. Wrongful manner means is obtained on strength of documents which are not legally valid, or incomplete documents, or false, wrong certificate, etc. Fraudulent means with intent to deceive any other person or any authority, including the central government. So the minute you use the word fraud anywhere, automatically the word intention would be added. Just for information. With intent to deceive. Whereas when you do it without intent to deceive, it is still wrong, but not a fraudulent. Okay. Yeah, so, but what I suggest, make a note of it somewhere in a notebook or something, or keep track so that when later on you will remember that time that Shrikant told, better now I go to an advocate and get it quashed. See, the gentleman or lady who is the owner of the din himself may surrender. So if the central government receives an application in form DIR 5 by the din holder to din to surrender his or her din, then we can. But you should be also giving a declaration that you have never been appointed as a director in any company and the said din has never been used. Please understand, if the din has been used once or you have been appointed as director in any company, no deactivation. It will continue. Why? Because there might have been an offense committed, which may go undetected, then come to light later. So you can't surrender your din and run away so quietly. So they insist that they did. But if you are able to show that you have never been appointed as director and you have not used it, then surrender the din. Okay. Before doing that, the central government will anyway verify your records. See whether you are a director in any company, whether that company has filed annual return, financial statement, any violation is there. Everything they will do before they surrender. Even then, if you are a director, they won't do it. Immediately say, sorry, you are already a director, no deactivation. Bye. So, this central government or regional director, northern region, or any officer authorized by this guy shall deactivate the din. It's a procedural thing for information. Okay. Okay, not very important. The deactivated din shall be reactivated. Only after E form DIR 3 is well. Again, you can reactivate the din. Same procedure. Apply in DIR 3, blah, blah, and get it. In case of any changes in the particulars of the director, address, whatever, then that also should be intimated within 30 days in form DIR 6. This form will be downloaded, filled up, scanned, and submitted electronically. Again, to be signed by a chartered accountant or company secretary or cost accountant in practice. Usually, practicing company secretary will do it for you. The central government, upon being satisfied the changes are correct, they will incorporate the changes. Okay. So, the same will be informed to the company also by that concerned individual within 15 days of such change. Just I have highlighted the days which could be relevant in multiple choice questions. That's all. So in case there is a failure to furnish din to the registrar, company, see, you remember it is the duty of the company to file. The duty of the company to file, right? Sorry. It is the duty of the company to file in Form 3C. Now, in case there is a failure to file that, then there is a penalty of 25,000 for continuing offense, further fine of 100 for each day. Okay, subject to maximum of 1 lakh. See, why you might, somebody may ask this question. Why they say each day after the first? Because continuing will be from the second day only. Now, there is, you understand now, there is a last date for filing for giving the intimation, 15th day. On the 15th day by midnight, you are supposed to file. You have not filed. So, the first day, okay, after that, okay, is the first day is when the offense starts. It's not continuing now on that day. On that day, it is not continuing now. On that day, you can correct it belatedly. If after the first day, you are still not doing, it is continuing. I hope I'm communicating correctly. The last day over, you are an offender now. Sorry, that gentleman or lady is an offender. Now that offender had one day, now the first day. In the first day, they may correct it. But if they don't correct it from the second day onwards, it becomes a continuing offense. That is why 100 for each day after the first. Are you able to understand? Because the fine is already there now, 25,000. That is for the first day. For not doing it, we are charging a fine of 25,000. First day is there. You could make it up. You have not done it. So the next day is a continuing offense. From that day onwards, it will become a continuing offense. It's just for your information. Because some of you may have a genuine doubt now. Why they say each day after the first? Why not start on the first itself? Because for that first day only 25,000. Then second day what happens? Continuing offense. Okay. You don't do something wrong. You become accustomed to not doing it. Continuing offense. That's when second day onwards it comes. Okay, any individual or director who fails to provide DIN at the time of appointment, obtains a second DIN, fails to intimate DIN within 1 month to the company, his duty, maximum fine 50,000, continuing offense 500 for each day after the first. Okay, fantastic. So, DIN over, we move on to right of persons other than retiring director. Now, you know what is retiring director? We already discussed it. That is, those people who are retiring by rotation at the ensuing annual general meeting at the next AGM. Just to revise you or to remind you, what did we say? 2/3 of the total strength are those who are liable. Out of that 2/3, 1/3 shall retire at the next AGM. Those who shall retire, now we determine, Vagmare, Palekar and all. Those gentlemen will be called retiring director. Now, at the AGM, we may be proposing reappointment of the retiring directors. I'll give a simple example. From our own example, Adekar Industries, what did we do? We decided that Vagmare and possibly Palekar will retire. Agreed. Now, at the AGM, we need these guys on the board, yeah. We want them back. So, at the AGM, what we will do? While giving the notice itself, we'll say, Mr. Vagmare and Mr. Palekar, who are liable to retire, who are retiring by rotation at the ensuing annual general meeting and being eligible for reappointment, have given their consent to act if appointed. It is recommended that they may be reappointed. That's it. So the board is recommending reappointment of Vagmare and Palekar, which is quite in order. Now, the AGM notice comes to you or me or anybody. Okay. My favorite animal, Mr. Donkey, also gets it. Okay. Goes through it. He says, Vagmare and Palekar are to be appointed as director. No, I want to become director. Chalo, we can do it. How is it possible? 160. Okay. We already saw that now additional director, nominee director, etc. is not a retiring director. But I explained to you who is a retiring director. Okay. Now, any person who is not a retiring director shall be eligible for appointment to the office of director. Theoretically, this means anybody can propose themselves as director of any public company. So, Mr. Gardab Das, I wouldn't say donkey, I will say Gardab Das. Mr. Gardab Das looks at I will appoint myself, I will propose myself as director of this company. Can he do that? Yes, he can. Okay, but this is only for a public company. For a private company, no. Because private company, anyway, retirement by rotation itself is not there. Okay, so private company, no. Public company, when directors are retiring by rotation, anybody can propose themselves as candidate. So there will be election. Now, how can Mr. Gardab Das propose or nominate himself? Here is the procedure. Why Gardab Das? You can nominate yourself as a candidate for directorship in Infosys Limited. No jokes. It can be done. The candidate himself or some member intending to propose him as director shall, not less than 14 days before the meeting, no date. The notice of AGM would have come 21 clear days before the meeting. Now, looking at it, you want to propose yourself. No problem. Before, not less than 14 days before the meeting, you should leave at the registered office a notice in writing. You can send it by courier also, but not by post. It should be delivered by hand. That's how they are saying. Signifying his candidature as a director. So either the candidate himself or some member can do it, right? Obviously, the candidate need not be a member. Please, there is no condition that a person to become a director of a company should be a member. I'm repeating, there is no condition that a director should be a member. Or only if he is a member, he can be proposed as a director. No. A non-member can become director. There is no compulsory owning of shares. Yeah. There are some DIN questions. I will come to it once I complete this topic, this part. Now, this nomination shall be accompanied by a deposit of 1 lakh rupees or such higher amount as may be prescribed. Oh, but it's okay, 1 lakh. If you win, you will get it back, yeah. If you win, you will get it back. It will be refunded. So don't worry. Let us send 1 lakh DD. The deposit shall be refunded to such person, or as the case may be to the member, if the person proposed gets elected. So look at it. Or even gets more than 25% of the total valid votes, you will get your deposit back. Okay, so let's look at it. Now, the company gets the nomination of Mr. Gardab Das. Wonderful. So their duty is simple. At least 7 days before the general meeting, it should inform its members of the candidature of that person. And at the meeting, what will happen? The chairman will take up the agenda item. He'll say, Mr. Wagmare and Palekar are retiring. We are suggesting that they be reappointed. Wagmare and Palekar will stand up and put namaste and sit down. Then they will say, incidentally, we have received, as you are aware, and we have circulated to you, Mr. Gardab Das also has proposed himself as a director of our company. Like that, when we say immediately Gardab Das, from the audience only he has to stand up. From the front row, maybe he is sitting, he will stand up and do namaste to everybody. Then the chairman will say, it is our fate now to have an election. So we will be circulating ballot paper. Kindly vote. If you like Gardab Das, put for him. If you like Palekar, Wagmare, put for him. And invariably, everybody will put for Wagmare, Palekar. Gardab ji may get some votes. Hopefully 25%, so he'll get his money back. Then, that is it. End of story for Gardab Das. I mean, but you can. There's nothing preventing from. See, I'm just giving it as usual. In my unfortunately humorous style, I'm telling the story. But this is a very important power. Why? Because suppose there is two groups are there in the company. There's a conflict between two groups. This will give the groups a chance to prop their candidates. And there could be a valid voting, election and all. This happens in the case of non-profit companies, clubs and all. For example, I'm a member of the Presidency Club. It is a Section 8 company. Section 25, now Section 8. Governed by Section 8. So invariably, every year for permanent committee, there will be a huge election. So candidates will be proposed, everything, voting, canvassing will happen. They want to get. So it happens. So that's a Section 8 company. That's why. So that's quite, it gives the ability for groups to give their candidates. So blindly, you cannot say only they will be reappointed. You can have somebody else also. Okay. See, very, very important. That requirement of deposit of 1 lakh shall not apply to an independent director. Similarly, director recommended by the nomination committee or remuneration committee, where the nomination committee has approved them, then no need for deposit. Usually, this will be whole-time director, managing director, they won't have to. Because they would have been recommended by the nomination committee. In case of appointment of a director recommended at the board of directors, where such company is not required to constitute, then where the board is recommending, no need for 1 lakh. But where is an independent candidate, then not independent director. A candidate who is proposing himself, then 1 lakh. Yeah, Kaushiki is asking, if not appointed, then no money. That's what it says here. The deposit shall be refunded if the person gets elected, or at least gets more than 25% of the total valid votes, either on show of hands or on poll. But if he does not get it, then sorry, 1 lakh, enjoy. 1 lakh is an expenditure. Don't think of it as a loss. Think of it as an investment for popularity. At least so many people came to know about him, Gardab Das. You know what? Gardab Das proposed himself for Infosys. Maybe press will cover him. the man who wanted to become Infosys director and all. Whatever publicity, whatever. Anyway, see, it so happens I also have a master's degree in psychology. I'm an MS, Master of Science in Management Systems from the Birla Institute of Technology and Science, and I'm also an MSc in psychology. So see, as a psychologist, I should say, I always keep observing what people do. Okay, what people do is behavior. Why people do is motive. So this puzzle, the human puzzle always I always keep thinking, why does this person do like this? What motivates him or her to do it? That helps me to understand them better. Once I understand them, I can deal with them better. And once I know how to deal with them, getting things done is becoming easier for me. It's just a thought, nothing to do with law, but lot to do with life. So just I thought I'll share this. So this way, why did Gautam Das apply? We don't know. Maybe publicity, something, sometimes inexplicable why people do things. There will be some reason, convoluted psychological reasons why they do things. On the face of it, it looks very silly. Chalo. So, what is the procedure? Candidate or member to leave nomination, not less than 14 days. Company should send it 7 days. Then voting, etc. Company shall inform its members by serving individual notices or through electronic mode, okay, or putting it on the website, whatever. And so it will be sent to the members by email and put in the notice. It shall not be necessary for the company to serve individual notice on members if the company advertises such candidature not less than 7 days in one vernacular newspaper or in one English daily. See, this escape valve is there because in those days, this notice had to be sent by post to everybody, courier or post. So costly, very costly. Compared to that, releasing an advertisement is cheaper. There are many small newspapers circulating near the registered office for which, if you pay a nominal amount, you can publish it. So in case the company wants to avoid spending postage, they can as well advertise it. But today, you are allowed to give electronic mode. So all you need to do is, if it's a listed company, inform the registrar share transfer agent, give him the content. He will float it to the registered email IDs of all the shareholders with the DP IDs. So straight away it will be over. So this exception, where they can give advertisement may not be very relevant today. See, suppose you're an unlisted company, you have 300 shareholders. Now you have to send to all of them now. You can avoid that trouble by giving an advertisement in 2 newspapers, vernacular and English, circulating near the register office, in the area of the register office, before the same 7 days, before 7 days, right? See, he is serving it 14 days. Company is getting it 14 days before. So they have 1 whole week to do this. So they can plan and give their plans. This section will not apply to private company. Section 8 company, okay, where company whose articles provide for election of directors by ballot, it won't apply. In case of Nidhi company, okay, for Nidhi company, for 1 lakh, the deposit is only 10,000. In case of government company, it will not apply to a government company in which the entire paid up share capital is held by central government or any state government or governments in any combination. Subsidiary of a government company, it won't apply. Reason, government company, anybody cannot propose themselves as a director. So to prevent that, they have put it. Similarly, for IFSC public company, it will not apply. It will be applicable as per the articles framed by the company. Also, in case the board of directors of a Section 8 company want, only Section 8 company, at the discretion of the board, may refund the deposit in case the candidate loses. Only Section 8 company. Okay. So this is the right of a person to be appointed as a director. Documents submitted are invalid in the novel. The government allowed in on the basis of the document because you said the government will cancel it in case of was at the time of application, who knows? Yeah, he applied. It's like common sense. At the time of application, who knows? It was approved. Subsequently, it is discovered in some other proceeding that this fellow gave false. Then only they'll come. That is the only way they'll come to. Okay. So this is how it is. I hope your doubt is clarified. At that time, if they had known, they would not have allotted the dinya. They have that power, no? They would not have allotted. As you rightly point out, they would not have allotted straight away. And they would have even penalized him for giving fraudulent information. But they couldn't discover. It went unnoticed. Subsequently, they discovered. In some other action by the company, fraudulent action, this fellow is also taken up for questioning. There, all this comes out. That he is so and so, his name itself is false, like that. Oh, then this will trigger. Okay. Now, we are going to go into another topic. Again, not at all very important from the exam point of view, but section is there, so we have to understand. And I will tell, and then I will tell the context also. Normally, all directors are appointed on the basis of a simple majority, meaning ordinary resolution. Meaning, if there are 5 shareholders, if 3 of them agree, that is resolved, passed. So, when we come to oppression and mismanagement, you will understand. I will tell you more about it. Majority will always win. The majority will always appoint all the directors. Because first, minority proposes a candidate, then they can't vote. Now they don't have the majority vote. Now, so we only have majority. We will defeat that candidate. We'll appoint our candidate. So normally, majority will only appoint. Minority can never have representation. But sometimes what will happen, there will be oppression and mismanagement. Later on, we'll be seeing the topic. At that time, I'll tell you more. What is oppression? What is mismanagement? Application is made to the tribunal. Now that before the tribunal, the minority is crying, see what is true. We are not even having representation on the board. We don't even know what these guys are doing. Okay. Then the tribunal will say, look here, I will ask the company to amend its articles and provide for proportional representation. Again, see, no sane company or company secretary or chartered accountant will incorporate a company with articles providing for proportional representation. No. Why? We will always keep silent so that majority only will have the right to appoint all the directors. But the tribunal, that is why I'm giving the context of this section. So this section is available so that tribunal can pass an order if necessary. Where there is an oppression petition application or mismanagement application, and the minority says, in the meantime, your honors, we may be permitted to have one director on the board. So the tribunal will say, okay, is that what you want? No problem. We will direct the company to amend its articles to provide for proportional representation. Then you guys go. If you are a united minority, you propose one candidate, at least one candidate you can get in. How? That let us see. See, first there should be provision in the articles, for which they should, if the articles do not provide, you have to amend it. Again and again, I'm repeating, no sane company will do this. No sane director will do this. This will be done only under circumstances which I told. Otherwise, at the time of incorporation, for the fun of it and all, don't put proportional representation. No. Just because you studied 163, don't do it. It is just available in the law so that tribunal can direct. Later on, when you come to oppression and mismanagement, you will understand what I'm talking about. 241, 242, powers of 242, you will understand what I'm saying. At that time, relate to this topic. At that time, when you see, I will tell you, the tribunal will invoke this provision of proportional representation. So the articles provide for proportional representation. Now, so out of total number of directors, appointment of not less than 2/3 shall be made by proportional representation. So the remaining directors will still be permanent or people who are not liable to retire rotation. See, many times, I've seen it in textbooks also, even in some other books. They use the word rotational director, non-rotational director. Please don't use those words. They are not proper words. Rotational, non-rotational, as usual is rotating and that case is not rotating. You use the word very strictly. Directors who are liable to retire by rotation, directors who are not so liable. I know it's very lengthy and it's easy to use the word rotational. Not a good idea because it communicates wrong. One more thing it says is, it communicates a wrong impression that a director is non-rotational always. No, you saw how we did it now. First you calculate the number, then you decide who will be the remaining not so liable. Then you decide who are liable. Then based on who are liable, you decide 1/3 and then you decide based on seniority. So it's a long-winded procedure. So you cannot say he is a non-rotational director. That is wrong. Nobody is rotational, non-rotational. All that comes only at the time of competition. At that time we decide who are liable, who are not so liable, protect Adekar, Mrs. Adekar's son, then take these guys, then out of that you select. All that happens every year. Before the AGM, every year we have to do it correct. Same procedure has to be followed. So permanent, see, that way some people would always be in that not so liable category, but you cannot take it as a matter of right. Okay? Just want to be here. What they are saying, appointment of not less than 2/3 shall be made by proportional representation. So once that amendment is passed, then they have to hold an AGM. I'm sorry, general meeting. And at that general meeting, not less than 2/3 shall be appointed by proportional representation. So there are two methods of voting: single transferable vote and cumulative voting. Okay. In single transferable vote, what happens is every shareholder will have as many votes as there are vacancies. As many votes as there are vacancies. In cumulative voting, we will simply count the number of votes. Okay. So who get maximum will be elected, then next maximum, like that. So once the quota is, once we got to elect three people elected, balance are out. That is cumulative voting. Single transferable vote is even more complicated. Each person will get, suppose I have 100 votes, 100 into 3, 300 votes. How? I can give first preference, second preference, third preference. So I may be voting for so-and-so, but I say in my second preference is so. Then based on that, there is a very, very complicated calculation for rejecting and all that. Election will happen. Our institute election happens in this way. The council elections of our institute happens in this way. Don't please waste your time trying to understand. Just for your information, I am giving this. From the exam point of view, it is not important, except to remember the formula. Okay, I will possibly give you one example also. I think there is one example. Based on that, you will understand. Simple, you will understand. Don't complicate it too much. So, formula is, see, normally formula is very simple. Majority wins. Suppose there are 100 people, if 51 agree, over. But now the whole equation is changing. A director will be elected if he gets minimum number of votes. If he secures minimum number of votes, he will be elected. So, what is how to calculate minimum number of votes? He doesn't have to get majority. If he gets minimum, he is in. So, the minimum is calculated, total number of votes by total number of vacancies plus 1. Plus 1. That 1 plus 1 is to tip the scale. One more vote. So that, not exact, one more vote. So, total number of votes by total number of vacancies plus 1. So, plus 1. We will see that. I'll give a practical example. You will understand it. So, these guys will hold office for 3 years. Once in every 3 years, you will be again electing them or re-electing them based on proportional representation. This is called appointment of directors by proportional representation. Look at this example. I'm still confused. Well, I am. Okay. Some of you may be clear. I am still confused. So let me understand it by looking at a practical example. ABC Limited, having share capital of 5 lakhs divided into 5,000 shares of 100 each, fully paid up, has 2 rival groups. Before we go on, what is the total voting power now? Means if all the equity share votes are cast, how many votes will be cast? 5,000. So the total voting power is 5,000. So total number of votes, 5,000. Because on a poll, 1 share, 1 vote. On a poll, 1 share, 1 vote. So there are totally 5,000 shares. So maximum 5,000 votes can be cast. That is the total number of votes, also known as total voting power. And all these shares are fully paid up, so 5,000 votes are there. There are 2 rival groups, meaning fighting. So this is very important. Only when there are rival groups, this whole thing will come. If everybody is happy, for example, in Adekar Limited, there will not be any need for proportion because everybody is happy. Adekar is in full control. He owns maybe 30% of the shares. Maybe some portion is owned by financial institutions who are, they agree with his management style, and the public will be there. Some PE funds may be there. All are happy. Company is doing well. Why disturb? Okay. So Adekar has full control. He doesn't need proportional representation. But suppose there is a rival group. There is a group of shareholders holding 20% shares. Adekar holding 30. Balance is with financial institution, private equity fund, or public. Now only the real battle will start. Because everybody will be vote hunting. Okay. In those cases, suppose they are able to show oppression, then they may amend the articles and provide for proportional representation. So now there are two rival groups consisting of A, B, C, and D. One group. They together hold 3,500 shares. There is another group headed by E and other people. E plus certain number of people. Totally they are holding 1,500 shares. So A, B, C, and D are majority group, 3,500. Normally, they should be able to elect all the directors. But this company has got proportional representation. Therefore, how to find out minimum number of votes? So, there are 4 vacancies in the board to be filled up at the next AGM. 4 vacancies are coming up. And the 2 groups are fielded the following candidates. So, out for the 4 vacancies, A group has given A, B, C, D name. E has given E as a candidate. They want only one candidate, E. Okay. Normally, all the 4 vacancies will be filled by A group. Because 3,500 is 2,500. But if proportional representation is adopted, then it is enough if E gets minimum number of votes. How to calculate? Total number of votes divided by total number of vacancies plus 1 plus 1. Total number of votes, 5,000. Total number of vacancies, not candidates. There are 5 candidates. No. Vacancies. Vacancy is 4. So 4 vacancies. So formula, you know that now. Total number of votes divided by total number of vacancy plus 1 plus 1. So total number of vacancy 4 plus 1, 5. 5,000 divided by 5 plus 1, 1,001. Thus, any person who secures 1,000 votes on a poll will become a director. So cumulative voting is being used here. So they will get polling sheets with the names of all these 5 guys. Then against that, they will put numbers. So that if one shareholder goes on votes, he is having 15 shares. He ticks E, then 15 votes for E. Suppose they tick A. So think about it. Together, if the entire minority is voting, all of them vote, E can be elected because he'll get 1,500 votes now. So if all of them vote unitedly for E, he will become director. Now, the remaining 3,500 will get distributed between A, B, C, and D. Depending on who is getting more, they will come. Maybe C will come, D, B will come, A will come, D may not come. Something, but definitely E is going to go in. Are you able to understand? How the vote will distribute for A, B, C, D, I do not know. But A group cannot prevent E selection. They can at best have only 3 on the board. So this guy will be there on the board, watching what they are doing. And later on, you will be seeing in powers of board that there are certain powers of the board where unanimous resolution of the board is needed. Especially for investment in any other company, all the directors should vote. Even if one director is not voting, forget against. If he abstains, it is enough. He is sitting in the board meeting, abstaining. He should attend the board meeting and not vote. Motion defeated. Because all the directors should agree. Even if one does not agree, even if one doesn't vote for, he need not vote against. If he doesn't vote for, matter over. Simply fold the hand over. He can prevent them from investing in a group company. Siphoning funds can be prevented. So this much power has been given to this minority guy sitting in the boardroom. Even an independent director has this power. They don't know. They don't exercise. They simply become rubber stamp chamchas, doing whatever the management is saying. No, they want, they can do it. The power is there in the law. So section 163 starts with the phrase, notwithstanding anything contained. So this overrides all other provisions, right? 163 shall not apply to government companies, subsidiary, etc. Okay. Please note, Directors appointed by the method of proportional representation cannot be removed by the members under section 169. Similarly, small shareholder director cannot be removed. No? Like that, this guy also cannot be removed. Because otherwise what will happen? We struggle so hard to put him, then the majority will come and remove him. Not possible. They cannot be removed. Okay. So we have come to a nice level where we have, shall we say, completed quite a lot of. Now we move on to disqualifications. So we'll be seeing disqualifications, then we will seamlessly move to vacation, then resignation, removal, etc., etc. A person shall not be eligible for appointment as a director of a company if, now we are going to see the grounds for disqualification. Grounds for disqualification. Okay. First ground, we already saw now, he is of unsound mind and stands so declared by a competent court. So a competent court, a court of competent jurisdiction has declared him to be of unsound mind. So what is this competent court? Very important. The question before the court should be whether he is of sound mind or not. The question before the court should be whether he is of sound mind or not. This will happen where a person becomes senile. There is something called senile dementia. As people become older, they will slowly grow. Their forgetfulness will come, memory loss will happen, intermittent amnesia will be there. See, I use the word intermittent in its correct sense. Okay, intermittent means it will come, it will go. Suddenly memory will come, suddenly memory will go. So, in those cases, they may be having many assets. So their children and relatives will be afraid. Whether this Buddha will do some nonsense. So they will go to court and file an application. Which court? There's a separate bench called lunacy court. Don't worry, the judge will not be lunatics, the lawyers will not be lunatics. The court will be hearing question for specific application whether this person should be declared as lunatic, unsound mind. So they obviously this will be done by medical certificate. Yeah. If you call him, boss, sometimes totally mad person will be very, very sound. He'll be talking, he'll be teaching company law also for you. But you will never know whether he's mad or sane. That you cannot judge. Only doctor can judge whether I am mad or not. It's a famous quotation, Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali, a famous painter. He said, the only difference between me and a madman is that I'm not mad. So, very famous quotation of Salvador Dali. Okay, surrealistic painter. He introduced a painting system called surrealism. Okay, if you have some free time and you don't know what to do, search for Salvador Dali surrealism. You'll see so many good paintings. Elephant painting is there. Tiger painting. These are all surrealistic, beautiful. Clock painting is there. Surrealistic paintings. So, but he said the only difference between me and a madman is that I'm not mad. Okay. So finally, it will be the doctor who decides. Medical certificate. The court will declare him to be of unsound mind. Competent court. Only then. Suppose some other matter is being heard by the court. Some other matter is being heard by the court. Incidentally, they say, it so happens Srikanth is a mad fellow. Hey, the question before the court was not whether Srikanth is of sound mind or not. The question was something else. Along with that, they said, incidentally, we honestly feel this fellow is mad. But that is not finding. Are you able to understand? Okay. So, unsound mind. Undischarged insolvent. Now, who is an insolvent? A person who cannot pay his debts in full. In the balance sheet, liabilities are more than assets. Even if all the assets are disposed, the money realized will not be sufficient to pay the creditors. Such a person is called insolvent. That gentleman are maybe trying to avoid insolvent. He may try to say, I'm solvent, I'm solvent. So what happens is, the creditors will get angry because they say, keep on, we come and ask you, saying tomorrow. So they'll go to court and file insolvency petition. Means it's an application to the court to declare this person as insolvent. Once that petition is received by the court, he becomes undischarged insolvent. I'm sorry, he has applied to be adjudicated. So long as application is pending, nothing happens. But once the court passes an order, this disqualification begins when the director is adjudicated as insolvent on an insolvency petition preferred whether by himself or by his creditors. Usually a creditor's petition, rarely debtor will go for a petition. Rarely. But debtor will go for a petition where he can escape and run. He will use it as an escape valve. File insolvency. What he will do before that, he will transfer everything to relatives. Then wait for 6 months. Then go and file insolvency. We will see that when we come to operation and mismanagement. Again, I'll talk about insolvency. Okay. So basically, the creditors file the petition. The court hears the case, asks him to produce evidence. He's not able to produce. They say you are insolvent. That is called adjudicating as an insolvent. From that day, he will become undischarged insolvent. And will be continuing to be an undischarged insolvent until the court has discharged him. Till he is discharged by the court, he is undischarged. So what will happen is he has to pay all the creditors or satisfy them, get their proof, and then file another application to the court and say, I have now discharged my liabilities. So the court will pass an order saying he is now a discharged insolvent. Till such time he is discharged, he is called undischarged insolvent. A person who is an undischarged insolvent cannot be appointed. He is disqualified from being appointed as a director. See, the C clause, similar, it might sound similar, but there's a difference. Here, what has happened? An application has been preferred by the creditors, and that is being heard. During pendency of hearing, nothing happens. He is qualified. But the adjudication happens immediately, he is undischarged, he will be disqualified. Here, that person himself has applied. He has applied to be adjudicated as an insolvent. That means what? He is accepting that he is insolvent. He is only going to the court for formality. So the minute he files the application and the application is pending, he is disqualified. He has applied to be adjudicated and his application is pending. This is a debtor's petition. Means the debtor himself is filing. He says, I am insolvent. Why? After that, why adjudication? He himself has accepted. So he having preferred the petition himself, the disqualification commences from the date of application and continues during the pendency of the same. On adjudication, what will happen? He will become undischarged insolvent. That's all. Till he is discharged, he will be disqualified. So this is disqualification. Then, very, very important exam point of view. In case you got bored, went to sleep, or not listening to me, whatever you are doing, come back. This is very important. Listen. He has been convicted by a court of any offense, whether involving moral turpitude or otherwise, and sentenced in respect thereof to imprisonment for not less than 6 months. First, let's understand it. Conviction means what? He has been found guilty. See, some offense has been committed by him, allegedly. Charge sheet is filed, prosecution goes on. So, at the end of the exercise, the court finds him to be guilty. The minute they say guilty, he is convicted. Okay? Of any offense, whether involving moral turpitude or not. See, this whether involving moral turpitude or otherwise was not needed at all. They could have said simply convicted by a court of any offense and left it at that. Why they are saying whether involving moral turpitude or not? Because in the old law, only offense involving moral turpitude was covered. Now they are releasing it. No need. Even if it is not moral turpitude, it will be moral turpitude means some kind of fraudulent intention, where the offense is committed with fraudulent intention. Are you able to understand? So, 420, cheating, stuff like that are moral turpitude. So earlier, only moral turpitude offense was covered. Now, the offense, whether involving moral turpitude or otherwise, any offense, if he is convicted and sentenced, means the punishment is given. That is called sentencing. In respect thereof, to imprisonment for not less than 6 months. So, 3 things. Conviction by a court of an offense, whether involving moral turpitude, sentencing in respect thereof to imprisonment. Mere fine is not enough. their imprisonment. That too, the period of imprisonment should be not less than 6 months. Okay? He will be disqualified for how long? For 5 years. And a period of 5 years has not elapsed from the date of expiry of the sentence. So, he cannot be a director for a period of 5 years from the date of expiry of the sentence. For example, Mr. A is convicted by a court of an offense, some offense, okay, for 2 years. So, his imprisonment will start more than 6 months now. So, he is disqualified. The disqualification will continue till his sentence gets over plus 5 years. Let us say that this fellow was a good boy in jail. So, 1 year over, they said, okay, you are a good boy, you go. So, can happen. He can get out. 1 year, they allow him to go. Then that expiry of the sentence now 1 year, 1.5 years, maximum 2 years. At the end of 2 years, after that, you have to count 5 years. For 5 years, he will be disqualified. On the expiry of 5 years from the date of expiry of the sentence, he will be again qualified. Where imprisonment is for a period of 7 years or more, imprisonment itself is for a period of 7 years or more, he shall not be eligible to be appointed as a director. See, 7 years imprisonment means the offense is very, very stiff. Maybe some huge fraud or extreme murder case, only then 7 years. Okay, all that, only then 7 years. So, this is, I don't know, nobody is asking any more questions. I don't know if you are not having questions or I am not getting questions. Anyway, hopefully, I think the net connection is there. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can check it out. E, an order disqualifying him for appointment as director has been passed by a court or a tribunal and the order is in force. So, there is an order by a court or tribunal which says you are disqualified from being appointed as director. Later on, this can happen by tribunal. We will be seeing that. Tribunal can pass an order. Not only here, under investigation, they can say he is not competent to be a director. When you come to inspection and investigation, you will see. Tribunal passing an order disqualifying him from being appointed. F, he has not paid any calls in respect of any shares of the company held by him. Why I have stressed the? Because up to now, E, the disqualification applies to all companies where he is a director. He cannot be appointed in any company. That's it, up to E. But F, what happens? He cannot be appointed in that company only where that he has not paid the calls. Okay? So, he has not paid any calls, whether held by him jointly or alone, and 6 months have elapsed from the last day fixed for payment of the call. So, he is this. See, if you go and read it, a person shall not be eligible for appointment as a director of a company if he has not paid any calls in respect of any shares of the company. So, that company. So, only that company he will be disqualified. Other companies he will not be disqualified. Where he has arrears of calls and 6 months has elapsed from the last day fixed. Okay, right? Okay, so long as you don't have questions, I'm happy. G, he has been convicted of an offense dealing with related party transaction under section 188. Later on, we'll come to 188 in the course of my lectures when we come to powers. Point is, if he is convicted for 188 at any time during the last preceding 5 years. So for 5 years, he cannot be appointed after the conviction. Then you can appoint him. Or he has not complied with section 152. That is, he has not been allotted DIN. So not being allotted DIN is a disqualification. So if you want to become a director, first you should have a DIN. Okay? Then only you can come. I, he has not been complied, he has not complied with the provisions of section 1 of section 165. What is that? Number of directorships. He has taken up directorships in more than 20 companies or more than 10 public companies. So the minute he takes up more than 20, he is disqualified to be appointed. He won't vacate office, but he is disqualified. Okay. The disqualifications referred to in D, E, and G. D, offense involving convicted for an offense and sentenced to imprisonment. E, court or tribunal has passed an order. G, he has conviction under section 188. These three cases, he can file an appeal. He can file an appeal or a revision petition. Even if an appeal is pending, the disqualification shall continue to apply, even if the appeal has been filed. He cannot be, so long as this conviction is there, he cannot, even if he is appealed against it. Maybe if he wins the appeal, then he can be again qualified. But till then, he is disqualified. This is very, very important and interesting. 164.2. So what we saw was 164.1. 164.1 contains 9 disqualifications. 164.2 has 1 disqualification, which is very interesting and important. This disqualification applies to a person who is or has been a director of a company. So you are going to appoint Mr. A as a director of your company. At the time of appointment, you have to ask him, are you a director of any other company? Yes, I am a director of one more company. Has that company filed financial statements or annual returns for continuous period of 3 financial years? Yes, all up to now, up to date done. No gap. Good. Has that company repaid the deposits accepted by it, or paid interest on it, or redeemed debentures together with interest, or paid dividend declared? Yeah, they have paid. There is no failure. In case there is a failure, the failure could have been made up within 1 year. So has it been made up? No such case. Then he is eligible. Otherwise, he is disqualified. Suppose he is a director of a company. He is a director of another company. That company has not filed financial statements for a continuous period of 3 financial years. Then, if he, for continuous period of 3 financial years, for example, 19, 20, 21, 22. So, 19 filed, 21 not filed, 22 filed. So, continuous 3. So, the due date for filing for 22 over now. You file for 22, but 19 filed, 20 not filed now. 19 filed, 20 filed, 21 not filed, 22 filed. In between gap. So, continuous period of 3 financial years is not there. Therefore, you have to, that person will become disqualified. So, that continuous period is very important, which is why it is easy to overcome this disqualification. Just to ensure that you may not file for 2 years, at least 1 year you file. So, continuous period of 3 years will not be there. You keep on doing it. Something like that. Okay. See, the purpose of this section is to ensure that directors would be interested in filing financial statements and annual return. Because if that company does not file and he is a director there, he will become disqualified. So for that, at least they will insist, please file in all the companies where they are directors, right? Or that company, if it has failed to repay deposits or pay interest thereon, or redeem debentures on the due date, or pay interest due thereon, or pay any dividend, and that failure continues for 1 year or more. The due date is there from that day 1 year. If still after 1 year there is a default, failure, then it's disqualified. This disqualification will be there for a period of 5 years from the date of failure. So such person shall not be eligible to be reappointed as director of that company or appointed in any other company for a period of 5 years from the date of failure. So he cannot be reappointed in that company, and he cannot be appointed in any other company for a period of 5 years. So if he is already a director in some company, he will not vacate. But when he comes for reappointment, he cannot be reappointed for a period of 5 years from the date of failure. So 164.2 is a separate provision. The disqualification under section 164.2 shall not apply to a government company. So government company exempted. So no director of a government company will be disqualified if that government company does not file any particular. What happens to a person who is appointed as a director of a company which has already committed a default under section 164(2). This is a question asked by one student in one physical class. Sir, that company has already committed default under section 164(2). Already means what? Already 3 continuous financial years, they have not filed the financial statement annual return. Now our friend is appointed there, where a person is appointed as a director of a company which is in default of class A or class B of 164(2), he shall not incur the disqualification for a period of 6 months to the date of the appointment. Idea is, unknowingly he's given 6 months to verify. He goes in, he finds they have not filed. Oh my God. So he has given 6 months time to resign from such a tainted directorship straight away and come out. This is a good thing. Earlier law, it was not there. In the earlier law, if a person is appointed as a director of such a company, from the date of appointment, he'll become disqualified straight away. Appointment in that company will lead to disqualification straight away. I used to tell one story which I cannot tell here. How day one you will become disqualified straight away. Will anybody do this? Huh? Okay. Anyway, but now the law has been kind enough to give this person 6 months to verify and then come out. But ideally, before becoming a director, that gentleman or lady should have verified. But okay, they did not do it because some urgency. Now they go in, they find 6 months, resign and come out. If you resign, you are safe. Before this due date for filing, you resign, you are safe. Okay. A private company may by its articles provide for any disqualifications for appointment as a director in addition to those specified in 164(1) and 2. Addition. This will be there definitely A to I plus 164(2) plus, okay, private company. For example, private company can say only people who have mustache can become director in our company. They can say, private company can say, nobody can prevent. You cannot say, no, I want. If you want to become director, grow a mustache man. But so automatically, I don't know. Don't even go there. Huh? Just joke. Don't even go there. I just joking. Okay. Fun. Okay. So or else you can say, this company only professionals can become director. So minimum you should be chartered accountant, company secretary, cost accountant, advocate, engineer. Only 4 categories. You can say that. Nothing wrong. Suppose it's a consulting company. Say that. What is that? Okay. So where a company fails to file financial statements or returns, okay, as specified in the company shall file Form DIR 9 to the registrar, furnishing therein the names and addresses of the company directors, so that automatically those directors will be noted. Many times, some clients, they will come to me and say, Shrikant, I want to be appointed as a director in one company, but that company secretary is saying my name is shown as removed or whatever, not active, inactive like that. So we'll go there and check out. Yes, sir, you are inactive because you are already director in Dubakur Limited. Dubakur Limited has not filed financial statements. So what to do? Nothing can be done. 5 years you sit quietly, that's all. What to do? You should have come out at that time itself. I told you not to become director of Dubakur. In spite of my telling, you become director there. Now what can I do? Okay. So this is what it is. When a company, clients can be very, very funny. They will ask for advice, we will give advice, but they won't take it. Later on, they'll come and tell, you should have forced me. You should have made me complain. How is it possible? Yeah, I can tell you to don't do this, don't go that way. It's dangerous, like that I can tell. But if you still go on to, or if you have some other opinion, some other chartered accountant company secretary gives you opinion, you obey. Go. Later on, you get into trouble. Come running back to me. What can I do? Hold my hand. I will take you safely to the other side. You leave my hand and run away this side and that side, get hurt and come. How can I save you? So I keep on briefing my clients. Obey me fully or else do what you want, but then don't come. Or at least sometimes damage can be controlled. Sometimes I can do some damage control. Sometimes what to do. Okay. Upon receipt of Form DIR 9, that registrar shall register it and make it a public inspection. So that suppose you want to appoint somebody as a director, you go to this list and see if his name is there. Yeah. See, straight away he will be treated as inactive. Okay. An application for removal or disqualification of director shall be made in Form DIR 10. So means you are saying, see what I'm saying now, these disqualifications, some of them can be removed. For example, unsound mind. He can come back with a medical certificate, go to the court and get an order that he is of sound mind. Insolvent can be discharged. Are you able to understand? 5 years can get over after the expiry of sentence. In all these cases, your disqualification is removed. Now you want to go and inform the registrar and say, hey, disqualification has been removed. I'm now again eligible to be appointed. So that information, that application should be made in form DIR 10. Okay. We now move on to, we have finished disqualification. If you have any doubts, we can ask. Otherwise, we can move on. Vacation of office. Vacation means he will cease to be a director. CESE, cease to be a director. That person will cease to be a director. A person will cease to be a director if he incurs any of the disqualifications in 164. Any disqualification, if he incurs, automatically he will vacate office in all companies where he is a director. Are you able to understand? If he becomes a one's own mind, he is already director in 7 companies. Vacates. Cease to be a director there. But 164(2) the office of the director shall become vacant in all companies other than the company which is in default. Please be careful. He will not vacate office in that company. Kyun? Can you guess why? Common sense. Why? Because he is an offender there. Na? He has to be punished now. So he can't escape the punishment. Therefore, he will not vacate there. He will continue to be a director. He will not vacate there. But all other companies he will vacate. Okay, so this is straight away. What they have done earlier, there used to be 6 disqualifications and 12 vacations. Now they have taken those 9 and put it here in one. He said any one of those 9, if he incurs, straight away he will vacate. Are you able to understand? He absents himself from all the meetings of the board. The word used is absence. He does not come. From all the meetings of the board held during a period of 12 months with or without seeking leave of absence of the board. Whether he takes leave of absence or not, if he absents himself from all the meetings of the board held during a period of 12 months, he will automatically vacate office. That is why now related to alternate director, we are saying in case he is going to go out of India for more than 3 months, we give him the option to appoint or rather, he gives the name for alternate director. We appoint alternate. The alternate attends on his behalf. That amounts to attendance. So, he will not vacate. That is why we give an alternate director. He acts in contravention of the provisions of section 184. See, later on, I will teach you 184 when you come to powers, meetings of board and its powers. There you will see that if there is any contract or arrangement in which he is directly or indirectly interested, he has to disclose his interest. So if he does not disclose, then that is contravention of the provisions of 184. So we'll come to that later, you know. There again, I will tell you, this is a ground for vacation. He fails to disclose his interest in any contract or arrangement in which he is directly or indirectly interested in contravention of provisions of section 184. Same thing, I don't know why they have repeated. E, he has become disqualified by an order of a court or the tribunal. Friends, this is already covered in A because it's a ground of disqualification on 164. I don't know why they again mention it here. Because anyway, A says if he becomes disqualified under 164, he is there. And E is part of 164 where he has been disqualified by an order of the court. I don't know. Similarly, he is convicted by a court of any offense, whether involving moral or otherwise, and sentenced in respect thereof to imprisonment for not less than 6 months. Friends, this is already covered in A. I think because they want to give that exemption now for E and F, that is why they are given E and F separately. What they are saying is, under E and F, you know, in case this fellow goes on an appeal, he will not vacate. That is where he has been, order of court of tribunal is passed, or he has been convicted by a court of any offense. If he goes on appeal, then once he has appealed, they give him 30 days time for filing the appeal. From the date of conviction, from the date of order of the court, they give him 30 days. For 30 days, he won't vacate. Within 30 days, if he makes an appeal, then till disposal of the appeal, he will not vacate. Till the disposal of the appeal, he will not vacate. Then, if he wins the appeal, then straight away no vacation. If he loses the appeal, then again he is given 7 days for making second appeal. 7 days only. Within 7 days, he makes the second appeal. Then, during pendency of appeal, no vacation. During pendency. Finally, order is passed. He wins, no vacation. Second appeal also he loses. Then only he will vacate. This chart will become relevant because suppose in the meantime he has acted as a director and done something, no? Whether that is valid or not. So long as an appeal is pending, any act done by him as a director is valid. So anything done within the 30-day period, then appeal, during the pendency of appeal, etc., is valid. Okay, that is what you have to understand. He is removed in pursuance of the provisions. We'll be seeing that very shortly. Removal of director. He, having been appointed as director by virtue of his holding any office, ceases to hold that office or employment. Simple example. The CFO, Chief Financial Officer, is a KMP. He is an employee, CFO. Some companies, they may bring the CFO as a director onto the board. The articles or something, or they may say CFO will be a director. So automatically once he becomes CFO, by virtue of his holding office as CFO or employment as CFO, he will become director. Suppose he resigns and goes, automatically once he loses the office or employment, ceases to hold, automatically he will vacate his office. Okay. In case he is functioning as a director, even when knowing that the office of director held by him has become vacant, so knowingly he continues to act, then it is a penalty. Minimum 1 lakh, maximum 5 lakhs. Knowingly he continues to act as a director. Where all the directors of a company vacate their offices, okay, under any of the disqualifications. For example, 164(2) disqualification. No, they won't vacate in that company. Suppose all of them are convicted of an offense and are sentenced to imprisonment for more than 6 months. Wow, what a company. Huh? Where all the directors vacate. The promoter, or in his absence, the central government shall appoint the required number of directors who shall hold office. Okay. A private company can provide for other grounds for vacation. Other grounds. I told you, I gave 1 or 2 examples. Same count, vacation. Suppose a person ceases to have a mustache, vacation, vacate office. Okay, ceases to be a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, vacate. Like that. See, there are other additional grounds for vacation, which you will be seeing later. In the case of inspection and investigation, you will be seeing that after the director portion, somebody will teach you inspection investigation. I will teach operation mismanagement, then inspection investigation. There you will see 207 and 217, where in the course of inspection and investigation, a director may be convicted of an offense under that 207 and 217. When he is convicted under those sections, he shall be deemed to have vacated his office. Okay, and he will be disqualified from holding an office in any company. Like that. So this is the ground for disqualification and vacation. When you come to 207 and 217, you will see what are those offenses. Yes, see, he has done something which is fraudulent. He has done something which is against the public interest or interest of the company. And the central government passes an order convicting him. Okay, then in those cases, he will be automatically vacating office and he will be disqualified from any other company. Okay, now my dear friends, let me see. Yeah. We have somewhat very few topics to go. Not a big thing, not a big yeah, we can cover it. So we'll be moving on to resignation. But before I move on to resignation, let us have a small break. Say 10 minutes. Time now is exactly 7:35. At 7:45 sharp, we will start. Okay. At 7:45 sharp, we will start. Okay. In case you have any more questions, you can raise, but I'm surprised that this topic has not evinced any more questions. I don't know whether, say, Mr. R. Bhupati, the past president of our institute and a great teacher, okay, my teacher of income tax, who taught me income tax, a great teacher. Believe me, he's a great teacher. If any, I don't know, this generation, how many of you would have had the good fortune to listen to him speaking? So he used to say, later on when I became a teacher, he was my mentor. He used to mentor me. He used to smilingly tell me, Srikanth, if you have taught some lecture or if you have finished a class and you ask the students, do you have any doubts? And nobody raises any doubts, you can be sure of two things. That's what C.R. Bhupati used to say. Either you have taught it so well that they have no doubts, or you have confused them so much that they have unable to ask any doubts. So this is how, I don't know which to conclude here. Anyway, we'll have a break till 7:45. Sir, break, sir. Welcome back from your well-deserved break and no questions. Beautiful. So let me move on to resignation. Now, in the earlier law, there were no, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll sort of, okay, maybe at the end of the class, I'll do this. If I have some time, let me see if I can I think I can complete this topic a little earlier. So if you have some time, I'll take up some questions also, if I can. A director may, see, earlier law, there was no provision for resignation. Okay, means the section there was no section for resignation. So we had to go by general law and the rules and law. So now they have given very clearly, they have given a section 168 says, a director may resign from his office by giving a notice in writing to the company. Earlier, there was a doubt whether resignation can be oral, whether oral resignations are allowed. Now they are very clear. They are saying resignation should be in writing, notice in writing to the company. The board of directors shall, on receipt of such notice, take note of the same, and the company shall intimate the registrar within 30 days from the date of receipt of notice of resignation in form DIR 12 and post the information. So shall intimate. So once they received, it will be taken note and received. The company shall also place the fact of such resignation in the report of directors laid in the immediately following general meeting. Agreed? So this is simple. You want to resign, send a notice in writing. The board will have to take note and file within 30 days. Suppose they don't do it, then a director may also forward a copy of his resignation along with detailed reasons for the resignation to the registrar within 30 days of resignation in form DIR 11 along with the applicable fees. Got it? So in case the company does not file, then within 30 days of his date of resignation, he can file form DIR 11. DIR 12 company, when he is filing DIR 11, wherein he will enclose the resignation letter and say, such and such a day with effect from that, I am resigned. Please make a note. In case the company has already filed form DIR 12 with the registrar under Rule 15, a foreign director of such company resigning from his office may authorize in writing a practicing chartered accountant or cost accountant or company secretary or any other resident director of the company to sign form DIR 11 and file the same on his behalf, intimating the reasons for the resignation. So the foreign director has been given the permission. He cannot come now. So he can authorize in writing a practicing chartered accountant or all these people who will file DIR 11 on his behalf to be on the safe side. Because why we are resigning? To avoid, for example, to avoid disqualification under 164(2) or to avoid penalty, because we know these fellows are going to commit a fraud or something. We want to avoid that. So we resign. So that has to be noted. So we can file DIR 11 ourselves. Right? The resignation shall take effect from the date on which the notice is received by the company, or the date, if any, specified by the director in the notice, whichever is later. Got it? So, whichever is later. So, best is to send it by speed post. So, the date on which it is received by the company, the resignation will take effect. Suppose he has specified a date which is later than that date, till that date he will be a director. But if he specified a date which is before the date of receipt by the company now, then date of receipt will be taken. So whatever it is, resignation should be in writing, should be sent to the company, in writing to the company. Ideally, you send it by speed post, note the date of receipt, because you will get a proof of acknowledgement of delivery now. There you know the date of receipt now. That cannot be denied. So that is the date of resignation. From that day, within 30 days, intimation has to be given either by the company DIR 12. If not, or whether they give or not, director may also file DIR 11. Okay, clarity. Company shall file DIR 12, no doubt. Director may also file. If he does not want to file, no problem. But he may file. So this is shall, this is may. Option. Director may file. Even if they file DAR 12, he may file DAR 11. Okay. DAR 11 is not in lieu of DAR 12. Even if he files DAR 11, company shall file DAR 12. I hope I have clarified this point. Now what happened now? Since you are not asking questions, I'm imagining questions and answering them. Hey, come on. No, nothing has been put on the query pad. Come on, just show me that you are there. Show me that you are there, or that you are not totally bored to death by my lecture. Just put something there for me to know that you are there. Some human beings are listening. Okay. Where all directors of a company resign from their office or vacate their offices under section 167. Okay. All directors resign or vacate their offices. Then the promoter or the central government shall appoint the required number of directors who shall hold office till the directors are appointed. So such a pathetic case, all directors are resigning. Then central government shall appoint. See, foreign director may want to file DAR 11. Company has filed DAR 12. Foreign director wants to file DAR 11. Now he cannot file it now. So he can authorize somebody in writing to file on his behalf. Who will sign on his behalf and file. That's all. This is a right given to the foreign director to authorize a CA or CS or CMA or whatever they call themselves, and or an existing resident director to sign Form DAR 11 and file the same on his behalf, giving the reasons for resignation. It is an option given to the foreign director to give the reasons and all, if he wants to. Okay. Thank you for being. Oh, Sumit Jain, welcome, sir. Long time. Good. Welcome. Welcome. So, this is what it is. See, in the event of deactivation of DSC following en masse resignation of company before the appointment, where Form DAR 12 cannot be filed by the company, by lack of authorized signatory director, the registrars of company are authorized on request from the stakeholders, that is the shareholders, to allow any one of the resigned directors who was an authorized signatory for the purpose of DAR 12, along with additional fees he can file. It's a rare case. All directors resigning and all is a rare case, but they have provided for it as a matter of. Thank you. So now we move on to another topic, interesting topic, removal. Again, removal of directors by shareholder, 169 in this chapter. Tribunal, 242, operation and mismanagement. Okay, so we'll see both. Again, removal by shareholders by ordinary resolution, by special resolution. Let us see how it happens, when it will be ordinary, when it will be special. Now, a company may remove a director other than a director appointed by tribunal under section 242, okay, before the expiry of his term of office by passing an ordinary resolution. See, to my knowledge, three types of directors cannot be removed. Director appointed by tribunal under section 242, small shareholder director cannot be removed. Proportional representation nominee, appointee, cannot be removed. Directors appointed by proportional representation cannot be removed. Small shareholder director cannot be removed. And director appointed by tribunal cannot be removed. Here, 169 itself mentions 242, cannot be removed. Where the director is appointed under section 242. Do you remember? Appointment by tribunal, we saw that. Such a director cannot be removed. These three categories cannot be removed. Okay. But independent director can be removed anytime. But an independent director reappointed for a second term shall be removed by the company only by passing a special resolution. God only knows why they have put this process. After all, this fellow is coming for a second term. You want to push him out. Pass an order resolution and send him out. Why special? Maybe it could be like this. And why second term? Why not first term? After all, he's an independent director. You want to protect him. Make it special resolution. Then why second term? Why not in the first term itself give him protection that he needs to be removed only by passing special resolution? Gee, okay. God only knows. But as per the section, if you want to remove an independent director, first term, during the first term of office, ordinary resolution. Second term, only by passing a special resolution. Okay. In both the above cases, the concerned director. So one thing you should understand, independent director can be removed. Okay. But small shareholder director cannot be removed. Got it? In both the above cases, the concerned director shall be given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. So you can't just like that call him and say, get out. You have to give him an opportunity of being heard. Because when you're trying to remove him, he has the right to represent to the shareholders. He can come before the shareholders as a collective body and say, they are now removing me. But do you know, I was in the board of directors fighting for you. The MD is a fraud, MD is a donkey, monkey, whatever words he can tell. Am I correct? To make them understand. This fellow was doing all this. But since I'm objecting, they are removing me. So these things have to be given. These representations have to be given. Okay. As I told you, directors appointed by method of proportional representation cannot be removed. Now, if you want to remove a director, then special notice shall be required of any resolution to remove a director under this section, or appoint somebody in the place of a director so removed at the meeting at which he is removed. So you want to remove donkey and appoint monkey. No problem. You can. See, I told you now, I'll give an example like this. Don't get angry with me. So nothing wrong. One gentleman named donkey, another gentleman named monkey. That's all. So you want to remove donkey and appoint monkey in his place at the same meeting at which he is removed. That's all. Okay. So because I'm used to using this donkey, monkey example, so permit me to do that. Sriram, I have not received any questions here. One question was document submitted and invalid. I answered it. After that, I have not received. That is the problem. But why don't you post it again? I think in between some net connection problem was there. So I have not received it. So kindly, in case you want, you post it again, if you don't mind. No. Removal of director can be done at any general meeting. Why only AGM? See, you want to remove the director, you can hold a general meeting, EGM, and remove him. So no need for AGM. It can be done at the AGM, but it can be done at an EGM also. No prescription. See, only directors retiring by rotation will retire at an AGM. And that is an ordinary business. Appointment or reappointment of directors retiring by rotation. That is an ordinary business, AGM. See, even that can be done at a meeting other than AGM. Then it will become special business. That's all. So this ordinary or special resolution can be passed at an EGM or at an AGM. No need for any. Sriram, I have not received any questions. Other than that last question I answered was, sir, in case if documents submitted are invalid or illegal, blah, blah, just a small doubt. That question I have answered also. After that, I have not received any thing. Yeah, see, the idea is to help it exactly. When I use example like donkey monkey, you'll remember better. Namrata ji has understood the example correctly. Beautiful. Thank you, madam. A special notice shall be required of any resolution to remove a director under this section, or appoint somebody in the place of a director so removed at the meeting at which he is removed. Maybe you remember, you studied this in your executive program. I'm sorry, your, what do you call that, IPCs? Yeah, whatever, intermediate. In those days, it used to be called intermediate. Okay, so intermediate, syllabus, it was there. And that was section 115. So just quickly to recap section 115, special notice. Special notice is a notice given by the member to the company. Where any provision in the act requires it, then it should be given in accordance with Rule 23. So here 169 requires special notice. So you have to go to 115, read with Rule 23. Where Rule 23 says special notice shall be given by such member or members holding not less than 1% of total voting power. So minimum 1%, not less than 1%. Or holding shares on which aggregate sum of not less than 5 lakh rupees has been paid up. So either whichever is less, either this or that. So minimum they should hold 1% or 5 lakh, whichever is less, right? Special notice shall be sent by members to the company not earlier than 3 months, but at least 14 days before the date of the meeting at which the resolution is to be moved, exclusive of the day on which the notice is given and the day of the meeting. The company shall, immediately after receipt of the notice, give its members notice of the resolution at least 7 days before the meeting. See, this will be very similar to appointment of a person other than the retiring director. So special notice is given 14 days. Then 7 days, exclusive of the date of meeting and date of resolution. Okay, this is called clear days. So 21 clear days, notice, 14 clear days, special notice, 27 clear days, company should circulate it to all the members. If it's not practicable, the notice may be published at least 7 days before the meeting. Okay, you can publish it. Just like in the case of the, retiring by appointment of a person other than the retiring director, you can publish. But there, you don't have to justify. Company can simply publish and go. Whereas here, you have to show that it is not practicable to circulate. Okay, to give the members. Only then you can give an advertisement in the newspaper. Special notice is received in accordance with section 115 read with rule 23. I'll check up 23 or 24 and correct it and put it here. Because today I'll be uploading this PPT. Today, or maximum tomorrow morning, I will upload this PowerPoint onto the site so that you can download it and refer to it. Because today the class will be over now. So this PowerPoint will be ready for uploading. Okay. Company shall give notice of the special notice to members at least 7 days before meeting. Company shall forthwith send a copy to the director concerned, who, whether or not he is a member of the company, shall be entitled to be heard on the resolution. So that director who is to be removed can attend. And okay. So this is the special notice and provision for removal. One more thing is, whenever a notice is received for removing the director under this section, and the director concerned makes representation, then that along with the notice of the resolution given to the members, they should also send a copy of the representation. But if it is received too late, then the director may have it read out. This is without prejudice to his right to be heard orally. So the director can come and address the members. In addition to that, he can say, read what I have sent. You didn't send it to them, now you read what I have sent. Can be read out. It shall be read out, the meeting. But ideally, it should be circulated to all the members so that members will have a clear idea of the total picture. You are saying you are going to remove Mr. Donkey, but Donkey is saying that you are all monkeys, you are doing all nonsense. So no, who is right, who is wrong? That is for the members to say. But both the points of view should be given. Now, it is quite possible that while making these representations, the aggrieved director, the director concerned may use vulgar language. Like sometimes I use donkey, monkey and all he might use. And he might be rude and he might be unnecessarily abusive. Then the aggrieved person, will apply to the tribunal and say, sir, we are removing this fellow. He is useless. He is wasting time. But he is now giving a representation. Therein he is making all false allegations against me. He is not giving any proof. So why should I circulate it? So you apply to the tribunal and the tribunal will go through the matter, give that other gentleman opportunity, show proof. He is not giving proof to tribunal. Then tribunal will say, no need to circulate because it is only securing needless publicity to a defamatory matter. It is securing needless publicity for a defamatory matter. No need to circulate or read out the matter. Okay. But still he can come and be heard. Right. That is always there. But read out, no circulation, no. It won't become recorded because somebody's reputation is at stake now. It's a defamation. When somebody's reputation is being affected, it is called defamation. And this gentleman is giving publicity to defamatory matter. How it is defamation? Suppose Mr. A is a rogue. Known rogue, he has gone to jail 3 times. Then you can tell he is a rogue. He is a jailbird. Why? Because it's a fact. But suppose he is a good man. You should not tell anything without proof. That is called defamation. And if such a defamation is made, actually in addition to this, the concerned director can also claim damages from the concerned aggrieved party can claim damages from the director because his reputation has been affected. Okay. But tribunal can say don't circulate it because it is securing needless publicity for defamatory matter, right? So now vacancy created by removal of a director under this section may, if he had been appointed by the company in general meeting or by the board, be filled by the appointment of another director in his place at the meeting at which he is removed. Again, for that also you have to give special notice. So you should say, we are not going to appoint A, we are removing A, and in the place of A, we are appointing B. Special notice. See, usually, my dear friends, special notice will be given by a rival group. See, usually this whole special notice thing, removal and all will happen only when there is a fighting. When there is a two group fighting, one group saying the other group is frauding, defrauding, all that will become subject matter for oppression and mismanagement. During that time only all this type of applications and all will go on. Okay. So please understand, if 169 and all, if you want to become expert in 169, you should be working in a very, very useless company. So don't get any experience in 169 practical. Theoretically, you learn it and forget it. Because in such a company, nobody should work. It will be a headache. Okay. So a director so appointed means A is removed and B is appointed in his place. Now, will hold office up to which his predecessor would have held office. But if that vacancy is not filled up, it may be filled up as a casual vacancy. But the director who was removed cannot be reappointed. Okay. Similarly, removal shall not. Also, do you remember, if he is removed, automatically he vacates office. It's one of the grounds for vacation, if you remember. Removal shall not deprive a person of any compensation or damages. Merely removal. Later on, you will see in oppression and mismanagement and all, or managerial remuneration, certain circumstances, he will not be entitled to compensation. If those circumstances are not there, then mere removal shall not deprive a person for compensation. He is entitled to be paid compensation for us. See, suppose he is appointed for 5 years, you are removing him after 2 years, he is eligible for compensation. Okay? The fact that he is removed will not deprive him. Section 169 shall not have the effect of derogating from any power to remove a director and other provisions of this Act. There are no other provisions, but still they are saying such other provisions are there that will be valid. This provision will not derogate from that. This is called harmonious construction. They are saying 169 will be subservient to any other section which says removal of director. Of course, members removing director only this section. Tribunal removing, yes, we saw that. Now, removal by tribunal. Before we go there, I had a doubt from Mr. Sriram. Let me see what that is. In case the practicing CA is appointed as a director whole time in a company and he is also part in a CA firm, then will he be allowed to run as director of the company and whether is he or his firm disqualified to act as auditor of the company? My dear friend, this is a question actually my manager and I were discussing yesterday because I was saying that I might look at being appointed as independent director now. Then he was telling me, my manager was telling me, sir, be careful. If you are appointed as a director, can you continue to sign balance sheets and all? First of all, if you are a full-time practicing chartered accountant, you cannot be a whole-time director. I'll repeat, Mr. Sriram, kindly listen to me. If you are a full-time practicing chartered accountant, full-time, then you cannot be a whole-time director. Means if you become a whole-time director, you will not be full-time practice. You will be in part-time practice. If you are in part-time practice also, you can sign balance sheets. You can sign balance sheets. Nothing wrong. A member may be in part-time practice. He can sign balance sheets. He can practice. Part-time practice. If you are a whole-time director, you will be in part-time practice. You cannot be in full-time practice. But if you are not in full-time practice, many special audits will not be allotted. For example, bank audits will not be allotted. No, for counting number of partners, this gentleman who is in whole-time practice will not be counted. Who is in part-time practice will not be counted. So, generally, practicing CA will not become whole-time director. Generally. Okay. So, generally, we won't accept. Part-time director, you can be. Nothing wrong. Non-whole-time director, non-executive director, independent director, you can be. And still you will be full-time practice, you can sign balance sheets and all that. Why not? Except that if you are an independent director, you cannot be auditor of that company. Or after you resign, you cannot hold office for 3 years and all. Okay. So this is the answer. Whether firm will not be disqualified. That partner will not be counted. Even that partner can sign by balance sheets. Firm is nothing, no disqualification for the firm. Only that CA will not be in whole-time practice. He'll be in part-time practice. That's all. I hope you are clear now. No, this is not, Anuja Avasti ji, this is not out of the topic. This little advanced, because next topic I'm going to teach is managerial remuneration. There I'll be talking about MD, manager and all. So, see, managing director is a very, very responsible position defined under the Companies Act. Right. Chief Executive Officer also defined under the Companies Act. CEO. Managing director is a person having substantial powers of management by virtue of articles or a contract. And he is got more liability and responsibility. Whereas CEO is only a director, full-time director. But he doesn't have substantial powers of management. That is all. Okay. So he is more responsible for executive board. Whereas the MD is the overall leader of the company. Okay. See, I'll tell you what. Managing director is an Indian designation. There is nothing like that if you go to Europe or if you go to, you have chairman of the board and you have CEO. The CEO will be running the company, which is similar to our managing director. And the chairman of the board will be there, board members will be there. CEO also will be a member of the board, but executive member. He'll be an executive director, member of the board. Okay. He'll be running the day-to-day management. Similar to MD, but there they don't use the word MD, they use the word CEO. That is why you're getting the confusion. In India, we have CEO and MD. So I'm trying to distinguish by saying, by definition, MD has substantial powers of management, whereas CEO may not have substantial powers. That is why I have to understand. But in the Companies Act, they also have a position called CEO. Able to understand. So, slight difference. MD is more powerful. Managing director. More powerful. Definition is there. See, remuneration, there is a ceiling on remuneration for MD, manager and whole-time directors, but not for CEO. One more thing, CEO may not be a director. Chief Executive Officer may not be a director, but MD is a director. Whereas CEO may be an employee. He may not be a director. Are you able to understand what I'm saying? So I think that is the basic difference. CEO is not a director. He can be, but he may not be. But MD should be a director, managing director. So he'll be a director and a managing director. So there are a lot of restrictions on his appointment, a lot of limit on the amount of fees he can, amount of remuneration and all. We'll be seeing it in the next session. Okay, are you clear? If director claimed defamatory tribunal not to circulate still, no. Yeah. See, if the tribunal will say don't circulate now, still the director can come to the meeting and talk. There he can be defamatory. In which case, he can be sued in court by the affected party, agreed party. Also, the chairman of that meeting can have him evicted from the hall. See, while the meeting is going on, complete power of control of the meeting is with the chairman. Suppose his director is unnecessarily shouting and abusing and all, the chairman of the meeting could be the MD or could be anybody who is elected to the chair, full power to evict him. The power of the chairman during the meeting is very powerful. I told you now I may not have told you. When I was teaching intermediate students about meetings and all, I used to tell, once the gavel is in the hand now, full power. Gavel is a symbol of power. Once we bang the gavel, everybody is under our control. And he can evict him also from the hall. Can be done. Okay. So, removal of director by tribunal. Later on, I will be teaching oppression and mismanagement. There we will be seeing grounds for application for prevention of oppression and mismanagement. That is section 241. It's a very elaborate section. I'll teach you when I come to oppression and mismanagement. There an application has been made to the tribunal for prevention of oppression and mismanagement. While hearing that petition or application, tribunal has many powers under section 242. Numerous powers are there, 7 or 8 powers are there. One of the power is to terminate or set aside or modify any agreement between the company and any of its directors, including MD or any director. And So the tribunal has the power to remove a director under 242 when there is an application pending under section 241. So they go through it and see that this gentleman has behaved so badly, has mismanaged, has done fraudulent things. So immediately the first thing, remove that person, remove him. So that is called removal by tribunal. So a director so removed as per the order of the tribunal shall not be entitled to claim compensation for loss of office. Further, he shall not be offered appointment as director for a period of 5 years in any company without first seeking the leave of the tribunal. So if such a person is to be, this is also a disqualification, if you remember, and a ground for vacation, where a tribunal has passed an order that he cannot be appointed, or where they have removed him, he will vacate office. Also, he will be disqualified. He can be appointed only after seeking the leave of tribunal. So still you want to appoint. Okay, then go to say, sir, this fellow is now become a good man. He stayed at home and he suddenly God came and made him, he understood. Now he has realized his mistakes. He now wants to lead a good life. Can we now become director? So they'll call him. He'll also come and stand. Sorry, I have done like this. I feel so bad. Kindly allow me to be a director again. Then they might say, okay, we give leave. Appoint him as a director. How one can make career in tribunal? First, you become a practicing CA. I think you have to be practicing for 10 years or 15 years. I don't know. After 15 years, you apply. They will, whenever there's a vacancy in the tribunal, they'll call for it. In the meantime, what you should do, you keep appearing before the tribunal, become an expert in company law, authority on company law, and whatever. And then they keep seeing your face. Then you make an application. When the job becomes vacancy comes up, then they will call you for interview. Then they'll appoint you as a tribunal member. That's all. Your career is done. Keep on going in tribunal. Wishing you all the best. That was one of my aspirations when I was about 25, 30. But then my practice was growing. So it was always like temptation. Practice is good. But I became an expert. I wrote a book on company law and all. So I was always thinking, why not sit on the tribunal? But practice is also growing. So I overcame my desire to serve society. So I continue to be a practicing chartered accountant, made a lot of money, but it would have been nice. So some of you want to try that, please. But first 10 to 15 years, solid experience, practice, become expert in company law, appearing before tribunal, become an insolvency professional, resolution professional, do everything. Simply sink in corporate law and become totally immersed in it. Then automatically they will interview. You will be, company, corporate law will come out of your ear, your nose, your mouth, everything. So such a person, they will welcome and put in the tribunal. Ideally, you should also become a company secretary. Ideally, also qualify. I'm both a company secretary and chartered accountant. Ideally, become company secretary also. Check out if all this is worth it. Because if you finish CA, directly you will get employment in Freshworks. They'll pay you 1.5 lakhs per month. That is better now. Okay. Key manager. Now see, our friend Anuja Avasti was asking now. Same question is coming here. Key managerial personnel means chief executive officer or MD or manager. So already Anuja asked me and I gave her the difference between CEO and managing director. See, CEO and manager are not directors, whereas managing director is a director. And this manager is a funny creature. When we come to next class, I'll be teaching you managerial remuneration. At that time, we'll talk more about MD and manager. But chief executive officer could be a high-paid employee. Okay, but if he is appointed as a CEO, he becomes a key KMP also. And as a KMP, he will be an officer in default. See, when we come to officer in default, all the key managerial personnel fellows are officers in default. So automatically, this fellow will become officer in default. Okay, so that is the point. Company secretary, our friend, the company secretary, means employee company secretary, not practicing company secretary. The employee, the company secretary of that company. Key managerial personnel. In fact, when this provision was passed now, all the company secretaries were celebrating. And they were coming and telling me, Srikanth sir, we have now become KMP, we have become KMP. I said, hey, you guys are going to go to jail and you're happy about that? Why you got yourself into KMP? Because if any violation, KMP will become officer in default, Baba. You go to jail. Why are you celebrating your option to go to jail like that? I used to ask. They won't understand. No, sir. It's an honor for us to become KMP. We are thanking them, MCA. We are falling at their feet and worshipping them. They have made us KMP. I said, I hope they won't make me KMP. Thank you, bye. Anyway, as a chartered accountant, I am open season on me, practicing CA, open season. You know what is open season? No? Some animals, when in the forest, they will be too much. For example, rabbits and deers and all, they'll become too much. So to control them, the forest officer will say open season on deer. So anybody can go in with a rifle, shoot. Nothing will be done. Like that, for CA, practicing CA, open season. Anybody can come shoot me. Say, you are a fraud. Like that, they can accuse me and all. That is unfortunately a thing. Nobody will protect me. Okay. But except I have to protect myself. But how I will protect myself? Documentation, proof, everything should be there on record, transparent. That is how I will protect myself. So tomorrow anything comes up, I'll stand up and say, look at my paper. Look at this. Proof. Now tell me, am I fraud? No, sir, sorry. That is how we should protect ourselves. By our documentation, by our knowledge, by putting everything in writing, by not leaving things to chance. That is how you protect yourself. Chalo, coming. The company secretary, whole time, incidentally, my daughter is a company secretary. For your information, I am a company secretary, my daughter is a company secretary. My son is an advocate, practicing in Chennai, bar. He is member of the bar. Chennai, Tamil Nadu Bar Council, is a member. He is just about 24 years old, running 25. Company secretary, whole-time director, chief financial officer. Such other officer as may be prescribed in that, such other officer not more than one level below the director who is in the whole-time employment, designated as KMP by the board. Friends, look at the hierarchy. On top is the board of directors. In the board, you will have the MD, other directors, non-executive, independent. You might also have CEO as a director, company secretary as a director, whole-time director is there, CFO is there. That is called board. Are you able to understand? That is called board. One level below that, there could be employees like vice president, designate vice president finance. That gentleman is one level below the board. Now, he is not member of the board. He is not a director, but he is in the whole-time employment of the company, one level below. Now, for certain purposes, you might make them key managerial personnel. For example, company secretary is already there, but you might have some, I'll tell you simple. The company does not have a CFO, okay, but it has head finance, who is not a director, who is not a CFO, head finance. Now, the board has designated him, that head finance, as a KMP by passing a board resolution and saying so and so is a head finance is the key manager. Then that person also will become a KMP. Okay, not exactly a package family because I'm still looking for a CA because there's no CA here to succeed me. Anyway, thank you, Kaushikji. Such other officer as may be prescribed, right? Such other officer as may be prescribed, right? Then that's not prescribed as of now. Okay, so I hope you understood such other officer. But that again, you see, this, the board and this gentleman should agree, then he'll become KMP. Then every company shall keep at its registered office a register of its directors and KMP containing the following particulars. This is now we are now wrapping it up. This is procedural part where maintaining register and all. Okay, like DIN, the present name and surname in full, former name, father's name, mother's name, spouse's name if married, surnames in full, date of birth, residential address, present as well as permanent. Okay. Nationality. Okay. Occupation. Date of board resolution which appointment was made. Date of appointment and reappointment in the company. Date of cessation of office and reasons. See, it's a complete record of the director. Usually it will be a written document. Now it can be maintained on computer also. But anyway, it's a total document. Register of directors. It's a public document. Means members can see it. Members are entitled to inspect it. Date of cessation. Office of director or KMP held or relinquished in any other body corporate. Membership of the Institute of Company Secretaries in case of company secretary. because company secretary is also a KMP, right? So his or her membership number with the Institute of Company Secretaries. Okay. Permanent account number. It's mandatory for KMP if not having DIN. So some KMPs may not have a DIN because CFO may not be a director, CEO may not be a director, but they may be KMP. So this VP Finance or VP guy, he may not be a director, but he's a KMP. Therefore, for them, PAN, permanent account number, has to be given. In addition, okay, the company shall also include details of securities held by them, shares held by them in the company or in its holding company or subsidiaries of the company's holding company, means co-subsidiaries. So A Limited is B Limited is a subsidiary of A Limited. A Limited has another subsidiary called C. So that is called co-subsidiary. Okay. So whether you are holding any shares in the subsidiaries of the company's holding company and associate companies, meaning companies where we hold more, not less than 20%. The number, description, and nominal value of security, the date of acquisition and the price, date of disposal and price, and other consideration received. Okay. All that, cumulative balance. This is called Register of Directors Shareholdings. Now, a return containing, see 170 read with Rule 18 talks about DIR 12. A return containing particulars of appointment of director shall be filed with the registrar in form DIR 12. I told this when we came to appointment, I mentioned it. But it is this section that makes it mandatory. Form DIR 12 to be filed along with applicable fees within 30 days of appointment or change, whether it's a change or appointment. So when you appoint him, when there is any change in his details or when he's removed or resigned or whatever, you have to file Form DIR 12 within 30 days. Inspection, I told you now, inspection. Who can inspect? Members, right? When only members can inspect. Public cannot inspect, but members can inspect. It is a statutory register. It can be inspected by members during business hours. Members shall have the right to take extracts and copies. In case they want copies, you have to provide it free of cost within 30 days. This register should also be kept open at every AGM of the company and shall be made accessible to any person attending the meeting, because this register also has shareholdings. So there'll be the members who come for the AGM can look at it. They are entitled. If any inspection of this register is refused, or if any copy required under that clause is not sent within 30 days, the registrar shall direct the company and immediate inspection should be made. Section 170 and 171 will not apply to a government company. You know that, where the entire share capital is held by CG, SG or combination or subsidiary of a government company. Not allowed. Provided it has not committed a default in filing. Okay. We come to section 172. Penalty where no penalty is prescribed. Means in this chapter, see, this chapter has many rules and regulations. For all of them, they may not provide for a penalty. So if there is any contravention of any of the provisions for which no specific punishment is provided, then 172 will apply. Every officer of the company who is in default shall be punished with fine, or company shall be punished with fine of 50,000 rupees. For continuing offense, further period of 500 rupees for each day during which the failure continues. See here, first day is not there. In some sections they put, some sections they don't put. I don't know why. Subject to a maximum of 3 lakh rupees in case of a company and 1 lakh rupees in case of an officer who is in default. Fantastic. So since you have not raised any questions, we have been able to complete this topic well within the time of 9 at 10:30 itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you. Usually I will share an assignment. Today what I'm going to do, I'm going to open that folder, that file, and I'm going to give me 1 minute. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you questions, right? Which you can answer. Okay. You can see the questions on the screen, right? So these are multiple choice questions. So simply you have to select the option. That's all. We have a question from Sriram. In case of designation of director, the company has to file DA12 within 30 days or is it on notice? Say the notice is 1 week after the director is within 30 days from the 8th day. But the director should file DA1 within 30 days. In this case, whether or not the company files DA12. See, I think you are not listening when I said something, Sriram. DIR11 is an option. DIR12 is a mandatory. Company shall file within 30 days of receipt. Obviously, they cannot file it. When this fellow is signing it, how they will know? When they get it, only they will know. Whereas director, when he sends it, he knows now. So from that day, within 30 days, he may file DIR11. Well, that is where you are getting confused. It is not mandatory. He may file, he may not. For him, the deadline is from the date he knows now. When he signed the resignation, put it in post, he knows he is resigned now. From that day, 30 days. Company, when will know? When they receive. So from that day, 30 days. Okay. DIR12. DIR12 compulsory. DIR11 option. Have you understood? 1D. Which of the following is not a duty? To exercise his duties with reasonable care, duty. Not to make any profit out of any contract. Is that a duty? One D. See, maybe if you have the institute material with you, you go and check up. Anuja Avasti says 1B. 1B is not a duty. Other three are available in the duties. Just check up the duties. You will find 1A, C, D are duties. A, C, D are duties. D is very much a duty. B is not a duty. He can make a profit, provided he discloses it. That's all. Okay? The maximum number of directors of a private company. Hey, come on. It's too easy. They may ask you. Nowadays, multiple choice questions are becoming very popular. ICEER Institute, I believe, during pandemic, completely it was multiple choice or something, and all sorts of people have passed. You know, they're saying intermediate cost accountant. I don't know. They don't even know cost sheet. Yo, pathetic, pathetic. I wish, see, we should maintain the quality of our institute. I say, it should become very, very, our institute exam should be tough. And we should clear that. And we should be proud that we have cleared a tough exam. Making it easy and then clearing it, not good. So the maximum number of quickly, maximum, Kaushiki ji, I think multiple choice are a little weak. Maximum number of directors, maximum. Question 20, option not there. Sir, question 2. Maximum 2C. 15 is the maximum. Okay. Mango Foods Limited, an unlisted company, provides the following details. Equity share capital 9, preference share capital 21, debentures 12%, debentures 10, turnover 250. Company wishes to know if they are statutory required to appoint a woman director. And independent director. So both they are asking. So you see, this is where you should know that limit. That's all. If you know the limit, you can answer. Otherwise, you cannot answer. Mr. Pradeep, please don't give option without giving question number. Sumit Jain, question 2.20, I don't understand what it is. 2.20. You are talking about the question I am now sharing or institute material? Institute material, I don't know about that. I'll have to check up, Baba. Please understand my problem. As usual, I'm sitting in front of a screen. You are not able to understand. I don't have institute material in my hand. I don't want to also. 1B, 2C. 2C, correct. 3C. Correct. The company should appoint independent directors, but not woman director. Correct. Okay. Good. ABC Limited wishes to appoint the following person. I'm sorry. ABC Limited wishes to appoint the following persons as directors of the company. State which of the persons should not be disqualified, would not be disqualified under section 164. Would not. Please always note, would not. Correct. 3, no women. Yes, Ind. Wow. 4, ABC Limited wishes to appoint. I'll wait for your answer and then move. Mr. Unfortunate, who has applied to be adjudged as insolvent. Mr. Malicious, who has been convicted for tax evasion and sentenced to imprisonment in respect thereof for a period of 2 months. Mr. Crazy, who stands declared by the competent court as of unsound mind. Mr. Casual Approach was failed to pay the call money on shares held by him in ABC Limited within 6 months. So, D, no. D is disqualified because he has not paid it call within 6 months. Crazy is unsound mind. Unfortunate, he has applied. The minute he applies, he is disqualified. Malicious was convicted for tax evasion. Agreed. But he was sentenced to imprisonment only for 2 months. Whereas he should be for 6 months. So 4B is the correct answer. 4B is the correct answer. Please note that the clue here, the real challenge is 2 months. Whereas there, if you go to the section, you will see 6 months. Okay. 4B is the correct answer. 5. Which of the following category of directors can be removed by the members? Can be removed by the members. I think the answer is very clear. Five C is correct. A and B are people who cannot be removed. D is none of the above because C is independent directors can be removed. Okay, so 5C is the correct answer. It is proposed to appoint Mr. Dr. Vishesh Gupta as an independent director on the board of Terminus Software Solutions Limited. Mr. Sailesh Gupta, brother of Dr. Vishesh Gupta, is holding 5 lakh shares in the company. The shares are currently trading on the NSE at 4,682 per share. Are fully paid up and have a face value of rupees 5 each. So face value 5. So 5 into 5 lakh shares. Whereas the market price is 4,682 rupees per share. And this guy is holding 5 lakh shares. Wow. It's better to be a friend with Shailesh Gupta than with Vishesh Gupta, I say. Can Dr. Vishesh Gupta be appointed as an independent director on the board of the company? Yes, no, that's all. You write yes, no. You don't have to give the reasoning. At least you say yes or no. So you say 6-1, yes or no. 6-1, answer yes or no. No. Kyun? Why? Because the monetary ceiling, if you remember, is 50 lakhs. Am I correct? And that too face value. Face value is only 5 rupees. So 5 lakh into 5 is only 25 lakhs. Am I correct? Whereas the limit is 50 lakhs. So why he cannot be appointed? He can be appointed. Are you able to understand? The limit is 50 lakhs. Whereas there is a limit now. You remember? See, let me, if you want, take you there and show you. Okay, better I show you, then only you will believe me. Otherwise, you will get angry with me. You will get angry with me. Not angry, upset with me. So better I show you. none of whose relatives is holding any security or doing the 2 immediate business. Exception, relative may hold security or interest in the company, face value not exceeding 50 lakhs or 2%. Okay, or such higher amount as may be prescribed. Okay, so got it? So here only 25 lakhs, Baba. 5 into 5, 25. So face value. See, that is what you have to be very careful. 4,682 if you multiply, gone. Face value. Hey, same thing in auditors also, if you remember, it's face value. It's not market value. It's face value. 1 lakh. Relative can hold now 1 lakh. Same thing here. Okay, in view of the immense knowledge of Mr. Vishesh Gupta, the company is, think about it, not 2 brothers. Dr. Vishesh Gupta, Saraswati has blessed him. Dr. Vishesh Gupta, Saraswati ji has blessed. Shailesh Gupta, Lakshmi ji has blessed. What a family, both of them. One is rich, the other is highly intelligent. So the company is proposing to provide him with fee based on profits as well as stock options. Is this permissible? See, fee based on profits subject to section 197 allowed. Fee based on profits allowed as per the Companies Act. Okay. But stock options, no, not allowed. Not allowed. Okay. Good. Okay, finally we come to Mr. Gardab. Mr. Gardab was appointed by the Board of Directors of Zootopia Industries Limited. Zootopia Industries Limited at the board meeting held on 15/10/2020. He resigned for personal reasons on 15/1/21. The board appointed Mr. Bandar on, see, I'm not able to let go of this donkey and monkey. Don't mistake me. Okay, so Mr. Gardab was appointed. He resigned on 15/10 for personal reasons on 15/1. Okay. Bandar was appointed on 2/2/21 in the casual vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Gardab. Is the appointment of Mr. Bandar valid? Just check up how Gardab was appointed. Was it by members in general meeting? No. He was appointed at a board meeting. Therefore, casual vacancy created in the post of Mr. Gardab cannot be filled by invoking section 162. Casual vacancy. Only members can appoint. So, Bandar appointment invalid. Okay. Zootopia Industries Limited has 5,500 small shareholders. 700 small shareholders have left their intention to appoint Mr. Kara Ghosh to represent them. Mr. Akrosh Sin, the managing director, is of the opinion that the appointment is not valid, as it should have been signed by not less than 1,000 shareholders. Is this view correct? See, I have seen OKK. There is a new way of telling OK. What is this OOKK? OKK, I know. My wife has educated me. Don't become old man. If you see OKK, don't get excited. It means okay. Oh, OKK. But what is this OOKK? I don't know. Madam, if you can put OOKK, why you cannot put OK? Sorry, old man. So, let me see. I want an answer from you. One of you should give an answer. That limit of 1/10 to be checked only at the time of application. Agreed. What is the answer? Is Akrosh Sin correct? 1/10 of the total members at the time of application only you have to check it. Correct. So what is your point? So 1,000 or 1/10, whichever is lower. So 550 can apply. 550, 10, 700 is more than 550 now. So I need only 550 guys to sign, not 1,000. Are you able to understand? So 700 is more than 550. So valid. No need from 1,000 shareholders. Sir, Sumit, I remember that you earlier attended same problem you used to create. You will put no, yes. Without any elaboration, you will put comments, right? Something more. As per the provisions of Companies Act, minimum of 1,000 shareholders or 10% of total small shareholders, which is lesser. So the appointment is valid if just 550 shareholders sign. Here 700 have signed. Hence, beautiful Sriram. Sriram, the way you have written is exactly how an answer should be written in the exam. With a little bit polish, but this is how you write the answer. A little bit means you state the facts. I'll tell you how to, but broadly, if you write this, if this question carries 3 marks, you'll get 2.5. Okay. But if you write opinion incorrect, then no. Just Sriram's answer, if you look at it now, it's a nice way of writing. Correct. Okay. But only thing I would suggest is you write the law, then apply the law to the fact, and then conclusion. Last line you say, therefore, the view of Mr. Akrishnan is not correct. The appointment is valid. That way, you get a slight change. Your answer will be superb. If I am correcting, I'll give you 2.5 out of 3. Not 3. 3 we normally are not supposed to. 100 marks are not supposed to. Okay. In a theory paper. Will your answer be different if you are informed that Khara Ghosh is not holding any shares? Answer will not be different. Small shareholder director need not hold shares. Will your answer be different if you are informed that Khara Ghosh is already a small shareholder director in Jungli Informatics and Aranya Hotels? Then, no. Why? Because you can be a small shareholder director only in 2 companies. Already she is in Jungli and Aranya. So, okay. Now, Ms. Khara Ghosh, after attending the board meetings of Zootopia Industries Limited, finds the company is being seriously mismanaged by Akrosh Singh, the managing director, and his cronies on the board. She objects to this vehemently, but is not heeded. She therefore sends a resignation in writing to the board of the company on 2/5/2021. On 15/7/21, a penalty is levied and its directors for failure to pay interim dividend announced on 21/5. Comment whether Khara Ghosh is liable. See, assumption is that she sent a DAR 11 to be on the safe side. Anyway, her resignation takes effect when it reaches the company. She sent it on 2/5. We shall presume that if it's sent by ordinary post, 48 hours, so 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5 over. She is resigned. On 15/7, it is levied for a dividend announced on 21/5. 21/5, this lady was not a director at all. She resigned on 2/5, effective on 4/5. So Khara Ghosh is not liable for the penalty. Correct answer. Okay, so beautiful. So we not only we studied the topic, we also saw the assignment, in the sense practical questions, and we could learn, I hope, the topic well. Thank you for your participation, cooperation, interest, etc., etc. Our next class, inshallah, will be not on Saturday, but on Sunday at 7 a.m. in the morning. So see you on Sunday for a new topic, which will be managerial remuneration. Remuneration of appointment and direct remuneration of managerial personnel. Thank you. Bye.